And Zach, would you be my reminder, please?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, the cost of these tests is anywhere from 20 to 60 bucks per test. Since employers are willing to spend this amount of money on screening, they find that the benefits of testing outweigh the costs. John?
Drug abuse in the United States. A 2018 study published by the CDC found that an estimated 11.7% of Americans aged 12 or older had used an illicit drug in the past month. This number is estimated even higher today due to an increase in use of opioids and marijuana. Drug abuse leads to many problems both at home and at work. Depending on the drug, the individual and the use can cause many different problems at work, both the production and safety of that job site.
Zach, would you read the next part?
Problems drug abuse causes in the workplace. Safety. Individuals under the influence of drugs are a danger to everyone at the worksite. Drugs impair an individual's reasoning abilities and motor skills. Drugs can also negatively affect a person's ability to make decisions. Some drugs influence a person to take more risks than they normally would if they were sober. Production. Individuals under the influence of drugs are almost always less efficient than when they are sober. Even if the drug is considered a stimulant, there are many side effects or other consequences due to using these drugs. There's more absenteeism by individuals who abuse drugs. Drug abuse often eventually leads to disruptive problems between employees on the job, which affects production. Costs. There are many costs of drug abuse in the workplace. According to the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence Incorporated, the cost of drug abuse is over $81 billion annually in the United States. When a company has to spend a significant amount of money randomly drug testing employees, dealing with the consequences of lost production, and investigating safety incidents, there's less money for the other areas of the business. Upgrades to equipment, better benefits, bonuses, and pay raises can all be negatively affected by drug abuse in the workplace.
Wow, and the summary of this is drug abuse in the workplace is an issue for everyone involved in the company. Not only is it a safety issue for those individuals around someone who's abusing drugs, but there are other consequences. When production is slowed down and costs go up, less money is available for other areas of the business. Speak up to a supervisor if you see a coworker who may be having issues with drugs. For sure, rat your coworker out, right? It's called police. Okay, so any comments on this safety meeting? Anything at all? Here's my comment. The people that come to work, men and women, that are drug users, nothing's going to change their mind. At least nothing that you just read here. The only thing that might change their mind is that if they are afraid of being randomly tested and getting bounced off the job because they're high on drugs. But people that are dependent on drugs are going to be using those drugs. Now, people that just party with drugs might just have the good sense to not be high, when they're working. I know a lot of people think that cocaine makes them work faster, but it makes them look stupid. In my opinion, just watching what I have. So just be careful out there. Be safe, right? Work safe. Drug abuse costs us $81 billion. $81 billion, if that's true. So that's that. I'm gonna pin my screen. And I'm going to introduce you to Jerry DeHogue, who is.
You didn't get my good set the last time.
I didn't get you what?
You didn't get my good set the last time.
Oh, we're getting your good side this time. That's for damn sure. This is Jerry DeHogue. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about him, and then he's going to tell you more.
I can't do it with the monitor.
Jerry's going to tell you more. And but what I know about Jerry is he's a master carpenter. He's got a company called Books. And Jerry does high-end finish, pretty much all over Santa Barbara, Carpinteria, Goleta, where else?
Montecito branch.
Yeah, nice. I didn't say Montecito yet. And then, so Jerry, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your company, about how you got here. And then I've just been going on and on about 559 Woodley, which I know almost nothing about. I've just Googled it after. Is it 451?
351.
It says 559 when you Google it. Huh, weird.
Yeah, that's 351.
And that's the dome, right? Are you still there?
But you have to go back and add some ring pulls to some micro.
Otherwise you're out of there. Yeah. Okay, well, Jerry, without further ado, Jerry DeHogue.
So I grew up in a family of builders, and I didn't want to do this growing up, so, but here I am. Was pretty fortunate, moved to Vegas, and got lucky with the job, and let me try a lot of different things. So, where if you're working for family, you got to do it, which I understand. I mean, I expect people to do things my way because I have to own more on everything I do, but I was allowed to try new things. And,
So this Vegas trim work, some giant crowns.
Well,
unbelievable.
I work for Trim Tech in Vegas. We're not for somebody else. So, yeah, a lot of crap. Convex, concave, up, up break walls, back down, every which way you could run it.
And from wood, composite,
Composites,
foams,
flex, plaster.
MDF, plaster.
Yeah.
So
A
you,
lot of plaster at Paris Casino.
so you put up the base and then plasters with plaster over it?
No, we have precast plaster ground over it.
And you guys are, and how is it installed?
Screws and glue.
Big moldings, I bet.
Yeah, there were some big precast cornice details for Paris that we'd have to change the length of them, modify things to fit. So we had a lot of big tools to
How'd you cut the plaster?
with a bandsaw, a big mitering bandsaw. Ellis makes a bandsaw that I just found out that Jet copied it, and they make the same one basically.
What has a jet copy?
Yeah. I ended up buying one too for a bunch of beams that we did back in '04. A smaller one of the big ones that we used in Vegas were massive.
So it's all about tooling.
Yeah.
And then of course,
No one had to use them.
yeah, and and as you'll see, because Jerry's gonna hang this door, that there's handwork involved. So it isn't just tell that router to do it or tell that plane to do it. You see, there's a skill that's mastered in handwork. And it takes focus and concentration. Jerry's done it a lot, so that helps too. And he's got a system for hanging doors, because they'll do not just one door. They'll do a house of your job hanging doors. You'll do multiple openings. They'll get them going, and maybe you could describe that to us. System to keep. Because you got the doors have got to be routed on the right hand.
So everything starts with the door list. You make a door list from the plan, so those are numbered. It'll tell you the swing, if it's a pair, it'll tell you the size. We could have a house full of doors from 6'8" to 8-foot, 9-foot doors and larger. So you've got to, you batch everything together. So you do 6/8s, you 7/0s. Everything will be done separately. We have a 4-door buck. I brought a single door buck in just for this, but we will load 4 doors up to route the hinges in, plane them.
You brought that one time. It was cool.
Yeah. Well, I have a new one. That's spring loaded and it's adjustable. So a lot of our doors are 2 1/4 inches thick. So its jaws are nice and soft and have felt on them. But it's a matter of, we try to do everything we can in one place, do as much as you can in one place. You can control, you can be more efficient, you can control the quality, as opposed to setting all the jams and then running around and you don't want to take laps around the house. So like if you're routing a hinge on Friday, you're doing the bottom hinge of it, you've got a corner chisel it, you've got a pre-drill it for screws, then it's something that you can't really, you might slack, if it's the last one of the day, you're tired, you're bending over, there's a lot of repetitive motion with that. So we try to make things to where it's efficient. We put everything we can on wheels. That's a whole style of working. It's called working light. So you're mobile and do things around you. So take up, you know, the largest room that we can find in the house and kind of set up a temporary shop. And we haven't set up a table saw so much anymore. Things are pretty much milled. We have things milled specific. If we have to, we have portable table saws that we can use.
How about track saws too?
Track saws, and there's a wide variety of track saws, not just Festool, Makita, Dwell, Milwaukee. There's some other ones. Mafell is a very expensive track saw.
What's it called? What's the name?
Mafell,
Mafell?
Maffel. L, one or two L's.
Yeah, that'll be on your phone. You better spell it.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a $6,000 track saw.
Jesus.
You drop it down and it goes, push a button, and it cuts automatically.
Oh my God. And you even have to clamp it?
You probably have to clamp it.
Because you know that when the rubber's right on the Festool track, you don't have to clamp it.
Yeah, you don't, but you don't
Who
want to take a
doesn't?
chance with a
I know, who in
$8,000
their right
door.
mind doesn't clamp it?
So we'll get started with your custom door.
Custom 2468 inch and 3/8 Alacor hardboard door. So Jerry, on jobs that you job hang, when you're jobbing the door, you're not hanging pre-hungs, you're basically making a pre-hung in one place for every opening, right? So you specify the jam stock, stops, if they're exterior doors, you do exterior doors too.
Yep.
So they'll be rabbited, the stops will be rabbited. These are loose stops, they'll, apply the stops, you'll see how he does it. So there's a real, there's a trick to it, not a trick, but there's a process that needs to happen when you stop, and that's basically about a 16th inch door, about a 16th away on the inside of the stop, but you want your door to close tight. Less.
Now, what are you looking for in the door?
I'm looking to see if there's anything telling you where the top is. Sometimes it'll say top on it. The kick rail is, so inside here, there's wooden structure underneath the skin. And the bottom is typically thicker than the top, so you
Cut it down.
this says top.
Yeah, so you want to look for the top because, like I said, I drew that diagram, if y'all remember, and what's inside a hollow core door. And it's a frame. It has rails, top rail, bottom rail, and a lock rail. Sometimes a lock rail is a piece just, out where between, where 36 would be centered, maybe 3 or 4 inches above and below, and out 6 inches. Sometimes there's a big lock rail. You don't really know unless you get the spec on the door, and a lot of people make these they're called book doors. You just go buy a door, call a book door. You can buy 2 2s, 2 4s, 2 O's, 2 6s, 2 8s, and 3 O's, and then after that, you get a little more custom. Anybody show up on Zoom? Checked in? No? Nobody out there?
You might want to move up more towards the camera.
Come on, just like one. You guys hear okay up there? Tyler, Connor, Zach?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
okay.
You hear and see okay?
More
Yeah.
or less.
More or less.
Now, is this when you decide where it's gonna be a left-handed, which is this hypothetical if it wasn't there? Would you decide now if it's a left-handed door or right-handed door?
Yeah, I would be going off the door list.
Right.
Okay.
And this is a what glass? This door that we're good because I want it to swing. I think I want it to swing exactly the same way. No, yes, this is a right-handed door. This new door that Jerry's going to do will be also right-handed door. And then at some point, with any luck, next week, week after, we'll sawzall out this guy and we'll hang that guy. We'll use the tip block that will bore. And we'll trim it out, that craftsman style trim on top. Thicker head, one chin, or legs.
So what I just did is I checked the door for a crown. But spend $8, $10, $20, $30,000 on the door, doesn't mean it goes flat.
Right.
This door has a crown to it. And if you take a look, see. On the edge, if there's like there's a boat.
I saw it's like,
See a little bit of wine. So where does the wine go?
It goes to the high side of the door, the hinge barrel side.
Okay.
And so, in theory, that when the door closes, you're going to touch top and bottom of the stop on the strike side. So, a lot of people think, the latch will help draw the door in.
Right.
The jam will help straighten. We also will sight the crown with jam legs so that everything's going the right way. So we show up, if we identify all the jams that roll basically the same, we have someone go through, start crowning the jam legs so that we can pull right hand or left hand.
The barrel are going on the side away from the crown.
So I'm gonna do, the last couple of times I've done it with a track saw, because it seems like everybody's using track saws these days, all the cool kids are. So I wanna be one of the cool kids. Yeah.
You gotta keep up with the time, even though you look old fashioned.
Yeah.
You got your spring clamps on you too, right?
I do.
Okay, at some point I'll tell you that.
So I'm just trying to parallel the door. Get the guide parallel with the door. If with the door like this, just have to pull from the outside edge. If you have a panel door, you can always butt your style. You can butt it and measure over to make sure you got the right dimension, because the inside, your styles should always be parallel. That's one good place where you can correct things.
And so all factory doors are not all barrel.
Even custom doors aren't.
So are you putting the hinge bevel on now?
Yeah.
What's the degree on the hinge bevel?
We do 3 degrees.
And normal, and before you had a track saw, you would do that with your Rockwell, with your 126.
Yeah.
So, key to track saw. So did you bring that 126 in, Trey?
I have a couple of the trailer.
Okay. And then does this saw clean enough so that you don't,
Oh, you want to see a thing?
you don't have to plane off your saw? It's just unbelievable.
You saw it last time. So when you're cutting deeper into a piece of material, these things work a lot better. There'll be some sawdust coming out. It's not completely dust free. And since this is cordless, I don't plug in, so it won't know when it's on. So
That outlet's been a little wonky, so
It's not-
it works. Sometimes it works. The one on the.
I'd like to make sure I start from that order. Never start the machine. So we'll start it outside. Want to hold the ball up too, so it doesn't.
I would tear the top or the bottom of the door. Using the track saw is going to be a little more time consuming than using a door plane. But like I said, all the cool kids are doing it these days, so I figured we'd do it too.
Is that what a 126 is?
Yeah, the Florida Cable 126 is a door plane that they've deemed obsolete because it's metal. They want all the tools to be plastic so they don't conduct electricity. So we're going to undersize the door a little bit. And with this, we'll do, going to do a strong 3/16. The finished jam, the finished opening of the jam should be the door call out. So if this thing's at 2.4, we want it to be 2 inches.
Did you do it already? Yeah. Did you come and look at this cup? It's unbelievable. Holy smokes. So no pausing, right? No, it's guided on that track. It's actually, in some ways, way better than trying to do it. Way more chance of it moving around, and burning, and leaving some saw marks. This guy is unreal. Wow. Yeah, so you don't need to. I mean, I can't believe that. Is it 62?
And that's a stock blade that I've had for a couple of years.
The Makita
I've
blade?
never had it.
You're kidding me.
Wait, so how much did you take off on the other side?
Oh, just about 16.
Yeah.
16, okay, and then you're taking off 3/16 on this side?
I'm gonna make sure that the door is 3/16 under.
And the high side or the top of the bevel is out here, right? So the door is beveled that way.
Yeah.
So it's beveled 3 degrees this way to get away from any jam or hinge bump, right? And it's beveled this way so the door can have a nice clean reveal.
Okay, I see now.
I mean, that's the whole thing of the door there. So if you didn't have a bevel on this door, this might hit the jam. And as you can see, these are really nice paint grade reveals, solid 1/8 inch reveals. They'll take paint, jam will take paint, door will take paint. And that book, which I marked everybody right because of the controversy, shows 16th reveals on the lap side is no bevel. 16th reveal drawing door, that door will not open. That's what the paint on it explodes at all.
So working at the Biltmore, Four Seasons wanted 8 inch all the way around.
Yeah.
With the top down each side that allows for think the doors,
Expansion.
expansion, contraction. Here we get a lot of expansion and contraction. Humid.
I mean, look at this. Yesterday it was like I was wearing 2 or 3 layers, and today I was walking around naked most of the day. Just kidding.
And I suffer from expansion. No contraction.
Yeah, I'm contracted right now. My wife gone.
So when you're running any tool, whether it's a saw, jigsaw, skill saw, plane, table saw, listen to the motor of, what's cutting. Try to keep a nice, keep the pitch about the same. I try to keep a nice even feed rate. If you push the blade through, any blade through too fast, it'll heat up, it'll warp, it'll cut into where you don't want it to.
Yeah, and it could leave burn marks.
It could leave burn
And
marks.
you can hear it when it's working.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing, track saw / plunge saw, because you don't have to use that on a track, you can use it on anything you want. But the beauty of it is when he gets done cutting, that blade is not below, it's a safe tool. You're not like a skill saw that, you peg so many people peg the guard, that blade is always out. This is, once you finish the cut, love it.
You lift up, it's retracted.
Yeah. And is Makita cheaper than Festool?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because when we bought this, we were doing a house at Fedora Lane. And we had to do the siding, the hardy siding, and I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna burn up $1,000 Festool. So
Yeah. So that's what you use?
But yeah, you-
And that's not the blade you use.
no, we put a. different
Oh, we really cut all that hardwood
You
siding
can't
and it's
tell.
still,
I mean, 2 houses of hardy siding, and you can't even tell.
that's insane.
So this thing's been a champ.
And so hardy siding is I don't know what size, but we've done it in 7 1/4. It's a lap siding, about 5/16, 7 inch, but it's cementous board. It's made out of concrete and fiberglass. So it's, it's just like cutting soft masonry. It doesn't rot, doesn't burn, paints up well. Usually you can get it with a wood, grain. It's really cool stuff. So now you're gonna put the hinge bevel. I mean, this is the latch bevel, right?
Wait.
Yeah. I think you did the hinge. This is latch
Oh, it's-
bevel.
No, it's gonna be.
So Jerry, that was the side that the bow was on.
Well,
Well,
this door's
The
crowned up.
crown is on the door, is this way, right? So that's up right now.
So the crown side is where you're putting.
Yeah, the barrel in, so that when you, so the contact, so picture. Picture the door, this is exaggerated, contact and stuff. And you've got a chance to put the door in with that, with the latch. This is way exaggerated, it's probably more like that.
We've got-
Contact, and then with the latch.
We beveled with butt hinges, but if you have a center hung pivot or concealed hinges, you don't need so much of a bevel. Because we're working, the pivot point of the hinge, working against you, that's why we have to bevel.
Right, because it's outside the door, right? Pivot point is not anywhere on the door, pivot point of the hinge is out here, about 3/4 of an inch out. Which is why,
So before that door is at 0 degrees, it's at, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 degrees before 0. So maybe right there would be in line. This pin lines up at the edge of the door. Bevel so the door will pass. If you have a pivot, if the pivot point is in the center or further in the door, there's not much of a need to bevel.
do you even bevel at all?
A little bit, just to be safe.
These are Rixon hinges or?
Check this. The Rixons for center hung, we use the Dormans for double acting doors.
Yeah. Dorma, it's a great hinge. Yeah, there's lots, by the way, there's lots of hinges. We're using a square corner butt hinge. I think I've told you this. I don't like round corner butt hinges. It speaks of cheap doors and big ugly mortises. It's not that people are looking at your jams a lot. But the truth is the details, you get the overall picture. And it's one of those details that just speaks custom, to me, the square corner hinges. And now the buckaroo. This is something you can buy, this buck,
No,
spring loaded.
That's not.
It's not? You had this made?
I made it.
This is not something you can buy? I swear I've seen something like that, right?
Nope. Nothing like this. So I'm gonna take
Did you make this or have it made? Cause it to be made?
I tacked it all together in the front of my mill, but
So did you start out with something different? I mean, the upper uprights and stuff, and then you just modified it?
that's all just raw stuff.
Wow. Where's the spring at?
Oh, they're inside the tubes. They're like auto return springs, 2 of them.
You get that? Core comes down, springs, grab it, hold it.
It's at an angle, so as it goes down, it pinches against the door.
It's really cool. And it holds the door, which is pretty darn important. Right.
Door doesn't line up to stay down. So this is, this router has a 16th over round over bit. So that I'm taking the sharp point off.
Right, instead of a sharp point, 16th round number gives you a nice eased edge, and it's consistent as opposed to hand sand breaking it, which may not be as consistent as machine. We have that router. We have that base, that 16th bit, that you just keep that bit set
It's just.
and it just breaks all the edges. So you don't have these sharp knife edges to cut people. They don't splinter.
The other thing
They're
is
safer.
when you're, so we do a lot of different species of door. In this town, vertical Doug fir is a big one.
Mhm.
And if you just go in and you do a climb cut, which means if you operate the router the way you're supposed to, which means it's cutting into the material.
Yeah.
It can lift the grain.
Yep.
And with vertical fir, it can tear all the way to the top of the
Yeah.
door, and you pretty much, you gotta figure out how to fix it.
And they have experience with that because we routed the 6x6s and 6x10s with a big chamfer 2 routes and did some climb cutting and experienced everything you're talking about.
So on like vertical fir, we'll go backwards. We'll do a back cut and then we'll finish with a climb cut. So I'll show you that.
This is actually just kind of pushing away. Yeah. I started pulling the router get into the way. And that's the way you should be routing, left to right, right? The way the router. So you start with a climb cut. Going the opposite way, right to left. And then finish it left to right. That breaks it. That way between now and it's contact and goes all the way.
Since this is MDF, you can go as fast as you can.
Yep. Yep. Push them from.
So just to make sure I'm not seeing double right now. Double checking, got my bevel. I'm on the high side. And I've labeled on here, there's an arrow going up. There's a faint LH on one side for left hand, RH on this
Ooh, I
side for
love it.
right hand. I try to take all the thinking out of things. So you look down, you just look down, you know, if you're standing on the high side, that's what, or the handing at the door. it'll tell
So by you standing on the R8 side, you know that you're standing on the, for a right-hand door. You're gonna route hinges for a right-hand door. You don't have to think about it because you can imagine bevels, wrong sides, crown. There's a lot of stuff that goes together just to hang a simple door.
Now, is that a custom?
No, this is off the shelf.
So that's Templaco, right? They make the boring jig that we have. We have some of these guys. There's a variety of butt jigs that they make them specific to the hinge pattern and the doors. So this is a 3 hinge for a 6/8 door. Remember I told you about the button? So Jerry's putting the hinge template flush with the top of the door, and then on top of this is a button, and that's the reveal. Come and see it. Like a vegetable. Just take a look at that thing. And that's what creates the reveal, because that will go to the head jam, right to the top of the head jam. And that's the reveal at the top.
So I've taken the factory button off and which is thinner. And I put a screw in the top and bottom that mimics 1/8 of an inch.
So it's a button screw.
Yeah.
And then the template is set, and this can be adjusted. It has these indices in what, 2 or 3 places, and they go against the door and it gets it flush to the edge of the door, gives you the gain for your hinge. You don't see that route. And then there's a technique for routing. That's the same router in a different base. And then what's the technique?
So this is a plunge router or plunge base. So I'm going to zero it out. So I put it through the template. It hits the wood. Then there's a depth rod here. And then
This is really good stuff right here.
I took the,
So he zeroed it out by taking it from the template down to the wood. So that's his 0 point. Now he's going to adjust it exactly with his hinge for how deep the mortise needs to be. No dicking around, no doing, this thing on a waste piece of wood and trying to get your mortise just right. This is the way to do it, dude. And it's just it's the way the router is meant to be used.
now these
So I wanna
hinges,
see that. That's just perfect, isn't it? I love that. So that's gonna be the depth that thing is gonna plunge. Yes, depth of that mortise, which will flush that out, which is what we want. We want to flush out that hinge.
So these hinges, even expensive hinges can have play in them.
Yeah.
If we have a hinge that has play, we'll route it a little deeper so that we can adjust it back. We have to adjust doors with.
Look at these tools. Oh, look at that. Oh, man.
Those that are working it. That was careful the other day.
So again, I was doing a back cut. I go in at the top, I back cut, so I'm not tearing the material out. And then I go in and just back cut.
So imagine if you didn't do that and just went in and then came out, there's a really good chance he'd splinter out. So there's a real technique to doing this. And then I noticed you tweak this guy in, right? Well, you're right, because of the door, and that'll allow that door, it gives it some, it'll take that bow out, it can just help take that bow out.
I'm sorry to ask, but can you show how you, put the debt on that again?
What?
Can you show how you did it?
The depth,
Yeah,
well, it's hard now because
well, yeah.
it's not zeroed out, but drop this in, I'll zero it out to the material. And then you put drop the template in here, and then you adjust the rod down to it,
Okay.
and then that's.
Yeah,
how
so
far
the
it's
hinge,
gonna
right,
go
the
in.
hinge goes in here. Hinge goes in here, right? And that's adjusted to the thickness of the hinge, and that's
Okay.
how much it will plunge
Okay, I didn't. see that
from
part.
0, which is before the mortise. I mean, it's a little complicated, but once you do it a couple times, there's not that many adjustments.
Or a couple thousand
Yeah,
times.
that too. Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, how many of these how many mortises do you think we've done? Hinge mortises,
Sometimes-
probably in the tens of thousands.
I usually do the planing, so, when it comes to doing the plan, I usually run the plane. Routing a door is less evasive than getting a door out of parallel or not flat.
Yeah.
It's a big thing to make sure everything is true. If you have a door, if you mill a crown into it or, a hump into a door, your hinges aren't gonna line up. They're either gonna tear screws out, they're gonna wear out. I've seen like gates, steel gates where they use 3 hinges and the welder doesn't get them to line up right, and it eats the middle hinge. They'll just grind it away.
And if you're using a plane and you're not an artiste with that plane, that's how you get a hump in the door. You're not using a plane
Also,
on-
some materials are problematic. Walnut and mahogany can actually, when you hit the waning of the material, if the grain changes, it can actually kind of lift the plane up a little bit. So we usually go back and check everything with a level, straight edge.
but God, why not just use that damn track saw on
Oh, yeah.
everything? It's so.
Well,
clean.
because if you have a raised panel door,
Yeah, and
that's-
you got some moldings you can't
Right.
use anyway. Spring-loaded corner chisel. And a dead blow hammer.
old cheap little mallet I've had for a long time.
Now you see how this works? Spring-loaded corner chisel. It indexes into the corner because the router makes a round corner. You got square corner hinges. So if you didn't have this, you have to do 12. With the chisel, you got chisel, 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 right? 4 per hinge, where bam, bam, bam. Wait. You see that? Can we see the spring-loaded?
What was the mallet called again?
Just a mallet.
No, I call it dead blow. Is it a dead blow?
No,
Look at that. Wow.
Deblo would
Look what I
have.
got. Look at you in trash. Check this out.
It's white trash.
It's a killer tool.
So this is the tape that we use. We'll use this stuff.
Is this for behind hinges?
Yeah, and that way it sticks. You don't find someone's stupid business card.
Yeah, or hinge, cut hinge boxes and spit over them on.
Yeah. So I actually have it. I go to the company and have them take one roll and they rip it into three strips.
I love this. So what this is, you know, what we're talking about, this here, it's adhesive back,
Sticky back.
sticky back, and it's this thickness, right? Do they make different thicknesses? Or they all that thickness? You just
No,
build-
same thickness,
you just
different
build it up.
widths.
So what this does is it goes behind the hinge if you need to adjust the hinges. Remember I told you about that? If we needed to adjust these hinges, if we cut behind the hinge on this side, we can kick the door that way. When we get it on that side, we can kick the door that way. You can move the hinge that way, you can move the hinge that way, just by where on that hinge face you put these, whether here or here. It's just, if you don't, it's like door hanging, if it's one of those things that, really? Yeah, it's a part of it.
You can have this for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
This, what, we would cut cardboard strips from the hinge boxes. And
So
just
now I'm gonna-
spit, and stick them behind.
So now I'm gonna pre-drill for the hinge.
What's he using to do that with, you guys? What is that? What's that bit? A Vicks bit.
It's a self-centering bit made by Vicks.
Yes.
There's other companies make them.
True enough. But it's like Kleenex, man.
And you still have to be true. You can't just run this thing at an angle.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll be hinge bound with the, so hopefully I'm perpendicular to it's got a little bit of a lean. So it's gotta be perpendicular to the face, to the edge of the door.
The screws,
Well, the hole, so.
the hole, so the screws laid dead flat, right?
That's it.
Because you can get it, you've seen the screws, they're up like that, and it not only looks not good, but it affects the hanging of the door.
Now, what do you think about the screws that come with the hinges? Do you like using them or do you like to use other aftermarket
Well,
stuff?
A lot of it, like for this, I would probably change them out, but a lot of the times we have hinges that are expensive, they're expensive. And we'll use temporary hinge screws, so that because a lot of the times they're slotted. And you can only do the slot so many times before you start wearing out the slot. You don't wanna wear out the slot. Or you'll see brass behind it or whatever the material is that was plated over.
And then temporary doors too, I bet, yeah, exterior doors, until the place is locked up. For reals.
Sometimes.
Didn't you do so, why don't you tell me you did some temporary doors? Jerry did the public defender's offices, right?
Yeah.
That was that was a cool job. But this job, the 300-foot dome, concrete dome.
Yeah.
What were those doors?
They were solid core, 2 1/4. We had,
2 1/4.
yeah, 2 1/4.
This is 1 3/8.
Wow.
2 1/4 thick, solid core.
And then we had we had a couple that were 11 feet tall with 6 or 7 foot transoms over the top. So it was basically 18 feet
Wow.
with closers.
Built-in closers, like structural closers?
Dorma, ITS 96. That wasn't even, you can't even get here in the States. They were purchased in Germany and shipped out of Ireland.
Smuggled out of Ireland.
Yeah.
So besides what you're seeing in the carpentry, right, what Jerry's doing on his door, he's also got to be proficient in all forms of hardware. Hanging, latching, securing, keeping open, door stops, I mean, you name it, every part of the door. And there's some pretty, besides the butt hinges and the simple passes latch that we've got, that's as basic as it gets, and it just goes crazy from there. Sauce, hidden hinges,
Pivot hinges. We had Texas hinges, some of them were electrified so that we could have power to the most cases.
So they're cut contacts, right?
Well, no, there's an umbilical. So there's a ribbon for the Texas, there was a ribbon, so there's a connector on the backside in the jam. Then there's another connector inside the door, and then you have to buy their umbilical.
So
That
do
goes
you have
to
to
the
get
line.
that through the door? Do you have to bore through the door?
It was pre-board. Parkmill prepped everything on there.
But they've got to bore all the way through that door to get that. It's hard wire from the electrification of the hinges to the latch to do an electric, so you just click on the door.
And actually, they may have ordered the doors with the bore in them.
Huh.
But they prepped for the hardware, they prepped,
So they did all the mortises?
yeah.
Wow, in factory, built the doors, got the doors built. did
Well, they had the doors built.
And were they full mortise?
Oh, yeah, all the locks are full Morse locks, but they were Texas hinges. They're like a sauce hinge. And a lot of them were electrified.
Yeah, so we're talking about hundreds of dollars a hinge.
Yeah, like 5 for the electrified hinge.
Yeah. Per hinge?
per hinge.
Yeah, per hinge. And it might take 2 pair or 4 hinges. So it might take $2,000 to hang an 8-foot door.
So we had a
Just
pair,
the hinges.
we had a pair of it's a pair of doors on a house. And they wanted Harmon hinges. Which is a hidden hinge. They were $500 a piece.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything fancy. But they, then it was another $500 for the template. And then there was some additional cost for the machining.
And templates, this thing is templates. So Jerry was doing a house with incredible wood finish work on, is that Focaccia?
Oh, Paragon.
Hyundai, oh my good crikey. Had templates made because the light fixtures were let in to the French white oak paneling, right? And they let in exactly so they flushed out the light fixtures.
And receptacles. All the
And
receptacles.
receptacles in wood paneled rooms.
And speakers
And
and lights.
and the doors, like the doors were all set with a laser transit. So, the doors all open, their heads, like you could open a door and its head would go with an 1/8" reveal into an open doorway. And you sight a hallway with all these, it's just incredible finish work, man. Incredible. And then you just love that company too, right? You work for?
Oh, they're debunked.
They are, aren't they? I talked to him. Who was the guy?
Chad.
Chad. I
Yeah,
talked to him
he's a
about that,
Chad.
John. Jesus,
He's a Chad.
God.
Look up Chad on Urban Dictionary and it'll tell you exactly what I had to work on.
They're gone. That was a big company. Kitchell,
Well,
right?
The custom home.
The custom home parts,
Yeah.
called, but Kitchell's still. Kitchell's a big commercial company.
Yeah, he went down to San Diego. Isn't far enough for me, so. But we did two 18,000 footers at Tejas for them.
18,000 square foot houses?
Yeah.
Holy crow.
It was where the oil spill was. That was the last house we did. It's where the oil spill was on their property.
Wow.
Tejas Ranch, and we did staff cottage and caretaker's cottage.
Do you mostly bid your work or do you do
Yeah,
is it a TNF?
It's all, 90% of it's bid.
It's the way to go. And then you do all the bidding? Do you have an estimate?
No, I do all the bidding, and then I go over the billing with my bookkeeper, and she wants to, bill everything she can.
Yep.
But I've got to put the brakes. We bill off of a percentage of work that's
Work
completed.
completed, I love the AIA contracts and their whole, you get paid based on every, as a general, every sub-trade, the percentage of work completed.
We get paid when the client, if the client's in town and has time to write the check. But I mean, we do, I'm a general contractor, but I subcontract to other contractors to do the finish work.
Do you have a C6?
I'm grandfathered with, because my B license is old enough. So. But yeah, so when everything's bid, I do everything line item with the price. So single doors, pairs of doors, pocket doors, bypass, bifold.
And then in that, is it the hanging of the door, installing the hardware? board
Depending on
installing
what it
hardware,
is, I mean, like,
casing, if it
Yeah,
takes
because
casing.
if we get like lift and slides, all that machining is done. offsite, someone else does it. We still have to install everything, make sure it works. The swing doors, double acting doors, we prep everything, butt hinges, we'll do sauce or Tectus, but it's kind of rare to have to machine that. We just usually have it machined. Yeah, we did, like typically in Vegas, we do a lot of like, every house would have a gym, so they want a mirrored door, and we do a sauce, and we had templates for that. And Templaco they'll make templates for whatever size.
Yeah.
They're-
I'll
they're
bring a
size.
sauce in for you guys. It's a hidden hinge. It's really one of the first, and it's been copied, but you can't really see the hinge. No, there's no knuckle. It's mortised into the jam and mortised into the door, and stuff you do it with fingers and things, but it's a tough hinge. And they make them with adjustment, don't they?
The Tectus ones are, I don't know that Sauce is, but Sauce will make a spring hinge. Yeah, house full of Sauce will require those. You have to load 50%. When it comes to fire door, any rated door,
Wait, say that again, Jerry?
any rated door has to have a filter on it. You have to load 50% of grade. So on a door with 3 hinges, you gotta put 2 spring hinges on. A door with 4 hinges, you put 2 spring hinges on. So it's 50% or greater.
So those are rated doors, rated at 1 hour, 2 hour fire doors. So
Yeah.
they keep a fire from going from, let's say, your garage to your house. If your garage is attached, that's gotta have a rated door. There are places that have B-rated doors, and there are specific door that's sometimes filled with gypsum, but they have to have self-closing hinges.
Yeah, we did at the end of the Miramar, and we had to cut a bunch of doors upstairs because they added cork, 3/8 of cork underlayment.
This is at the Rosewood?
Yeah. And those fire doors are 3680s, and they're heavy, super heavy, and they had something weird. It wasn't gypsum, it was some weird composite in the middle of the door. And they had automatic drop sweep, so when you close the door, sweep comes down. And so we had to route up inside the door about 1.5 inches. And it just ate powder bits. You just get, dull enough.
Yeah.
So if your door has a crown in it, you can grab a straight jam light, and it should help straighten the door out. Which we have my bench dogs, but might be able to get away. with a couple screws. Yeah. I'll just grab them. Grab that.
Screws or bench dogs?
I'm gonna get my dogs.
Yeah, he's gonna get his dog. My dog's in the car. He can stay there. He can play with your dogs. So anybody know what bench dogs are? You're gonna find out. Gonna find out. And then these guys will all, pins will all come out. Will go under his jam. You'll see. It's pretty cool. It's a cool way to go. And then I'll tell you how I got a hang door after Jared's door. That way it's so much better. Just kidding. It's not. But I would argue that it's at least as good, but maybe not. We'll see. This is probably the best way to go. It's a job hanging on a bench. But how about that track saw?
Pretty cool.
Just unbelievable. Yeah, and no, you don't have to sand. There's no salt. Pardon me?
What did you use to?
Well, we would use a plane, right? A 126 Rockwell plane. They make a lot of planes now, and Rockwell Delta stopped making this 126 plane as a spiral cutter. That's as clean as a whistle. You do a bevel. So that's how we would do a bevel, is with a door plane, which is skilled handwork. So this doesn't take as much skill. I mean, you got to get that track clamp where it needs to go, and then it's just you're in an extrusion, man. You can't really, can't go anywhere unless you're really drunk.
It's just water, it's not vodka.
Yeah, and there's water here, guys. So we use water. So he's determined that's the leg, right? Because of the way it looks, it's a pretty flat leg with no crown. It's the left hand jam, the one on the left. So you can see it right now where that's going to go and where the hinges are going to be routed, and they're going to be routed just exactly. It's a template, right? It's the same route, same spacing, same depth. He has, oh shit, he did change the depth. He did change the depth.
No, I didn't change it.
Okay. He's screwing down the bench dogs. So clamp this.
Table that we used to get this on.
Yeah, and there's a variety of ways you can hold this down, but this
No,
is
there's
the
only
right-
one way, it's my way.
As far as Jerry's concerned, I'll tell you later. Another day. But really, what you use whatever you
I
have.
had two different ones, huh?
Yeah,
They still work.
Yeah.
So what I need is a scrap piece of material.
You should have a bunch on next to the table saw. Sure. Where are you keeping your fifth wheel?
No, that's flubber that I keep. It's a composite baseboard material or trim that I use to,
Oh, this is your beater.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great beater. So this was a piece of trim, right? Was it a piece of bendable trim? Is that what it was? What's it called? Flex trim. Yeah, I've used this. It's a great thing to protect when we're using your beating on it, right? You're moving stuff over. That's what it's for, to protect the wood, so you can take a hammer or a mallet to that and move things around.
So for striking, I use the one just to pull the nails back out. But if you saw the corner chisel, when you go through and strike metal with metal, it's going to mushroom or distort the metal. And I've had this for a few years, and you can see it's just shining. There's nothing bent over because I use a mallet. And those aren't expensive, they're $25, but
Steel and all.
it also cuts down on any eye injury. If it mushrooms, the metal will fly off, hit you in the eye. And it's the same thing.
Same, and also the same technique in routing these mortises too. Because you could have the same blowout in a jam. Even worse
This
is,
is composite, so you can go as fast as you want.
is it?
Or it's a MDF,
No, it's wood. It's wood, dude.
or I mean pine, finger joint
Yeah,
pine.
it's fine. It's fine. That was fast.
Depends on what the material is, you can, well, they don't smoke it in.
I didn't notice you measuring the template against the,
Oh, I use block of wood as a stop to replicate the head of the jam.
and as far as the template not going,
So, and when you do the door first, I pretty much line the template up with the edge of the door. And it sets the back set of the hinge, so. And same as the door, corner chisel. every once in a while you hit your finger. Sometimes it'll leave a little prize in the corner. Some of the hinges, they don't recommend splitting them.
Wait, what's that now?
Some of the hinges, the layout is different, even these have a little bit different. I did everything off of one hinge and the layout, it could be a little bit different. The whole pattern is a little bit different. Hinge to hinge. Baldwin
Really?
doesn't recommend splitting them.
Huh.
We would go
Yeah.
through and.
Yeah, that's I like to keep them together too.
So a lot of the hinges we use are like a lift off hinge and they're handy. So there's a pin and a socket. You just lift the door up and set it into position.
So lift off hinge, you don't pull the pins like we down here. It's got a receiver, right? A pin, you just lift the door and drop it over the pins. We use it on the cabinet, making a lot as a old fashioned type hinges. Lift off. I didn't know they made them for doors.
Oh, yeah. Riviera bronze.
Huh.
Big on it. So we gotta make sure it's adjusted. Grab two of the same and different. Push down too hard. Damage the material.
Would you recommend using the same leaf for that? And do you ever get in trouble?
No,
They're pretty
it's rare.
consistent, right? And they're supposed
But
to be all
the
machined
bald
the
ones,
same.
quite a couple times and then you realize you just want to leave them in.
Uh-huh.
Just splitting them will, that used to be more custom from leaf to leaf. Vegas, we'd use crap, can't think of the company. We used ball bearing hinges, but they were we'd split them. And now went
You're
back to
telling me the brand?
yeah, same as brand. Oh, Cal Royal. Used a lot of Cal Royal.
Huh? Is Terry still making hinges? Are they still alive?
Who?
Terry?
We usually deal with Riviera or Sun Valley Bronze.
God, everything just must be insane. It's expensive. And then they make a ball bearing hinge as well? It must be.
Oh, they all do. And they're like they on their lift off hinges, they have a ball in the bottom, and then on the pin it's got a cup, and the ball's adjustable. You can adjust them.
Wow. What's the hinge like that cost?
$200 a piece.
Each hinge.
So
8-foot doors,
Depends on
gonna
the
get
size.
2 pairs. Four and a half, or maybe. No, these are 3.5, 3.5. It's pretty standard for the doors we're hanging. Anything heavier, you go to 4 inch, and then heavier and taller still, you go to 4.5 inch hinge, and then they go up from there. 6x6 inches, 4x6 inches.
yeah, 6x6. That's like a book.
Yep.
Like a paperback.
Yeah, and for 2.25 doors. That's what they are.
So I'm gonna measure the rabbit, drop the door, and we're at like 11/16.
That's for both rabbits.
Yeah, so I'm gonna add 11/16 to the finish to the size that I want. I want to go with the call out of 2/4, so we're gonna be 2/4 and 11/16.
And that's what you are, and then the doors,
The doors.
and you've already taken it down, so it's got room for the reveals. So you're gonna go 28 and 11/16?
Yeah.
Get that? So that 11/16. How much longer you want it from the head? 28 is the give the reveal.
You always start refresh with that.
Fresh cut, you don't use a factory cut. Yeah, so this thing on the high side, God, it's just perfect. It's a quarter under. So that thing will have an 1/8 inch reveal inside.
Well, it's a strong 3/16 and with the round up.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the head. And there's the door. The hinges on it.
Some damage, yeah, it's just
You need something, is it wide enough?
something on top, something a little wider than the door.
What's this? Yeah.
That's the original festival right there.
The original track saw. You all know how to do it. Pretty soon you'll know how to do 30-degree shoulder liners.
A lot of the times we go through, we set the jams long before we get the doors. And so it's.
Get that set up, get the set.
Do you have, pincers? No, stapler or a cordless nailer or, yeah, cordless nail. Never want to use an impact when you're putting hinge screws in and then you go that way. I always want to use a clutched drill.
And why is that?
So, so you don't break screws or you don't go further than, or tear the threads out of the wood. Pass me the notes, please.
Oh, I got 2 pages so far.
Send me a copy.
This is all gold right
It
now.
really is. Send me a copy.
One thing is seeing it's another thing doing it.
No, totally, yeah.
Get closer to me a little bit. I can stick the center one. It's your hand.
Always pushing up the same color.
Is that hinge gonna be an issue, the other one that didn't?
No.
2.5, no.
Asking you shall.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Should be. Yeah. Got a little bit.
Oh, nice. It's like mine.
Good little tool.
Oh, I hate that one. This is a cool thing. I forgot I bought this. That's great.
So this is job hanging a door on the bench on the sawhorses, not in the opening. A lot of guys hang jams and hang the doors. And then shim and nail off to the reveal. Which is the way I did it. And Jerry's just about made a believer on it. Now, have you seen these?
I was gonna ask you, what are those?
They're Jerry's version of a German steel clamp. What are they called? They got
Oh, the
a name.
Omnia.
What is it?
Omnias.
Ohmias. You can buy them in a couple of sizes, and you buy a tool that opens them, right? And so the spring clamp, super sharp, pointy jaws. So Jerry's made them so they you don't have to have the tool. It's just and it's great for crown molding, pulling together miners.
Who
Doing
custom
this.
made those?
I had them made, yeah.
Yeah, these are killer. Look at that. And you know they dig into the wood, but this is the backside of the jam, so it doesn't show. Do you ever glue? I ask
No.
you this every time. It doesn't glue his jam.
Because you gotta move, they move around and sometimes you gotta cheat, you gotta slap a jam and move things around a
I
little
love
bit.
snap jams. My favorite things to do. And you know what? Will Smith.
Yeah.
Had slapped a few jams, maybe I wouldn't have to slap those kisses. I just saw that guy's whole life go away before my very eyes. And sure enough. But what do you got here?
Oh, it's just a countersink, I'm just gonna.
So you're
I'm a free draw.
so he's pre-drilling and countersinking for the screws to hold together the jam. And you use screws to hold together the jam. Leg to the head. A lot of guys nail them. Screws are way better.
You can staple them, I mean, we used to staple them all the
Like
time.
a quarter crown staple.
Yeah.
A good way to go too. Good holding power.
And we just go one direction unless there's a big bow, if you got a big wide jam. Or you have to take out, so you have to come down from the top. Yeah, pretty much. It's based off of the interactions I have every day. So this 1/8 inch is amazing. It does a lot of different things, door handles, knobs.
Which now, what are you talking about, Jerry?
Oh, my nut drivers.
Ah,
So it does a lot of different things. These steel saw wrenches are amazing too. Amazing if they fit.
yeah, they fit a lot more than a skill saw. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, more than just a skill saw.
Arbor inch? They're pretty universal.
Yeah, it's half inch.
So what else do they fit?
It's the adjustment of my dogs,
Okay,
blades on different chop saws.
pretty much any
just
blade, right?
Anything. half inch.
Any-
I mean, it's just,
Worm drive.
it is just a wrench.
Yeah. But if you don't have it, you're looking for an adjustable crescent, which is not really what you want that over.
Adjustable left-handed metric.
And by pre-drilling and countersinking, he's taken all the chances of that thing splitting away, really gone. Whereas if all the screws he's driving, he could drive them pilotless. He would drive and grab. And in some cases, you might get a better bite, but not really. If the countersink is done correctly and the pre-drill is done correctly, it's slightly like the size of the shank of the screw, but it lets it cut its threads through the hole. And you'll never split. Whereas as close as he is, if you look at these screws, can you see the screws back there? As close as he is, that could very well split. And these guys, what you don't want to do is do this to your nose, right? Oh my God! I didn't get that on film. Damn it. Do that to your nose, Liz. No, just kidding. But how about that? For in your bags, 2 clamps for clamping miters, clamping head jams, clamping crown molding miters, outside miters, it just makes it. Yeah, Jerry, you glue your outside miters on crown?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you can put those guys up on the crown, let the glue go off while you nail it, leave it on till the glue goes off.
I've done whole rooms of crown.
How long does yellow glue need to stay clamped? What's the clamp time of yellow glue? Anybody know? Aliphatic resin, the glue that we got up there, Type on. Anybody know? It's 20 minutes. It's on your test too. It's 20 minutes is the clamp time.
Not in Vegas, it's not.
That's
We've got a lot less.
yeah,
As it goes off.
yeah. So I guess you're right. True. But what's in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? The doors and crown you hung in Vegas stay in Vegas. Yeah, so check that out. Look at that. From a bundle of sticks to an actual door that opens and closes. Oh my
Now,
good.
this screw, Robbie, that you put in the middle, can you just hold it for now?
Yeah, so it doesn't sag. So it stays flush.
Okay.
That's all. That screw will come out. And it actually maze this door will be basically a pre-hung door. We're gonna set it up there, and then in another class, we'll sawzall out that door, remove it, and then we'll hang this door. We'll hang this door. I'll show you guys how to hang the door, and then we'll bore it in place, which is what we're doing. We'll go with the temp locker. We'll show you how that template works. I get Jerry, I do usually have Jerry do it, but I'm just taking pity on him today, not making him do that. He's had a long day. He's worked all day. He comes here on his own. Comes here on his own, and usually he's here till 9:30 or 10, doing those last things I told you have to do. We'll do it. You won't get. You miter all your stops, Jerry?
It depends. We leave it up to the client, what they want, or the contractor.
So sometimes they're buttered per.
Pockets, we like to butt them so that we can we'll head up so we can adjust the pocket.
Pocket doors all the way from.
What's Brad hammer?
Yeah.
With 1 inch?
The good stuff is kept.
we look at the stop is rounded on one edge. That does not go against the door. Typically rounded one side only. So we've got a chop saw that has extensions and stops on it, so we can cut this stuff pretty quick.
Well, we had a 23 gauge watermelon, and it looks like Jim or Patrick.
I've got one.
Are those the two new ones? They're in there, I think. Did we bring them to campus?
It's a green, it's a small green box. So here's our framing nailer.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
The Futaba, that's a 16 penny. It's a green box, it's a Grex. Get Grex 23 gauge nailer. Doesn't look like it's here. I mean, one of my colleagues has burned.
You guys are real good at losing tools
I'm not.
and ladders and
When you say you guys, you gotta leave me
well,
out.
excluding you then.
I haven't lost one thing. Anything I've ever borrowed, guess what? Is back here. I know right where it is. But that's just me. And so with this square, you can tell it's square. Should guys come up and look at this? Watch when he nails it. What he does, he's gonna use this square off his hinge side. Remember I said the stop will be off the hinge side of 16? He's gonna use this square to index his stop. Stop. The head will go from this far of the door to touching the door. And then this stop will touch the door the whole way so that the door closes and touches the stop. Whereas you got this is the reveal. It's hinge side, right? So you don't have a hinge button on the restaurant. Stop like that.
You'll grab my knife for this.
Okay, no, sorry about that.
I knew the job was dangerous.
It's a pretty cool way to hang, I gotta say, on the bench, you have so much more control over what's going on. Keep it square and it's right there, as opposed to nailing, hanging your door, nailing your stop sign, which is, I'm still gonna say my method, which I still like better.
So usually you would do this if it was a custom door, you can buy pre-hung.
Yeah, so,
So you wouldn't do this on this style door.
well, you might at home, if you just
Yeah.
wanted to buy the door and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Is it a DIY thing? You'd have to look at what does a pre-hung door 2468 cost me versus what are the jam stop door cost me, and then how long does it take?
Right.
Typically, yeah, as a contractor, we're going for pre-hungs anytime we can.
Right.
Factory doors, right? Pre-hung doors, so because they're usually cheap. That's why Jerry he's pretty high end.
Right.
With pretty fancy doors, and they want them hung on the side. And usually the doors come after the jams. A lot of times jams are bullnose, a lot of bullnose jams. So the jams have to be set prior to the plaster. And so then the drywall comes on and the bullnoses come and ground into the jams. And typically those jams are curved so that the bullnose can tuck into them.
Okay.
Right, and I'll describe a bullnose again, because I know some of you don't get the bullnose. But, we're gonna do casing here, and at some point I'll do an opening for bullnose. Just so you see, but that's, the carpenter just sets the jam, and then the bullnose is done by the plaster / drywallers. And these days they like them curved, but yeah, I always buy doors. And I have hung myself, like, I built the jam and hung the doors for 7 foot wide. Each door was 3.6, 2 1/4 thick oak panel doors, and at 6'8", they went into an arc, so they were arched top. It was unbelievable, and I mean, just the inactive door, because it was a pair of doors, right? You have to have a
you have to, fix those drawers, right? So you have flush bolt at the bottom, which you can get to, ball and flush bolt, but at the top, I got a 10-foot door. So I had to have a rod welded and do a groove all the way through under the astragal, so you could throw that thing, so you could throw a bolt up into the head, 10 feet up. And still be able to do it if you wanted to open both those doors. I can't believe I ever did it, and I made the jam. It was a nightmare, but it worked. Is that any different from mine? Is that a?
This is the 18 gauge.
Okay, yeah, that's 15, yeah.
Okay, so you guys saw the square, right?
Did you see what the square was for? The stop is sitting on the square, giving him that 16th reveal off the stop. That's the hinge side. There's no reason for that thing to contact the stop. You don't want it to contact the stop. That would be called stop bound, which happens when you get that stop up against the door. This keeps it, there's just a perfect reveal with that thickness of that door. And then this stop is down to the door, right? Door's flush. You know it's flush here, flush there, and he's taking it flush here and put a screw in it to make sure it stays flush. So that's 18 gauge, and is that what you'd recommend to nail your stop on?
That or staples.
And that's got to move all the way down. Painter's Friend, such a good tool. One of my absolute favorite tools. Don't you hate that one?
It's out. Now, on some material, you can see if you look at this, you see that it's perpendicular to the grain. I usually like to have things go with the grain so you're not fracturing the grain.
Wait, could you start over on that? That concept?
I like to make sure that the driver, if it goes below the surface, that it's going with the grain.
Oh, I see. The head is going with the grain.
The driver of the gun is going with the grain. So that, like if you're doing stain grade, you'll be going with the grain. You're not gonna have a big fracture like I just did here.
And it's fractured because you went against the grain.
Going
And
against the grain.
yeah, yeah.
And, there's no difference in pay between paint grade and stain grade, so I want everyone to do, I expect stain grade work, even
Yeah,
paint grade.
yeah. And the thing about paint grade, a lot of people have misconception about paint grade. They think in paint grade you can be sloppy because it's going to be painted, right? Caulking paint, making carpenter what he ain't. But the truth is paint grade is harder to pull off than stain grade because there's no hide in paint grade. You have to do if you're going to do Bondo or fill, you have to be perfect. Otherwise, your paint just brings out every imperfection. Where in a stain grade job, the stain and the grains of the wood and figured wood, you can get away with some imperfections. That's part of the ordeal. But by the same token, you want to get that head going with the grain, not fracture across and with a splintering. So there's all those little things to think about. Even the way you hold your gun.
So you guys see that there are different drills. There's 10 drills on there.
10 drills. So what do they all do?
It does something different. So, this is an impact for just driving, light duty stuff. You would not want to do or feel my wrath for putting finished screws in. A lot of times the screws are brass
Yeah.
and they snap really easy.
Yep. And so all of those have clutches. All your
The
drivers.
impacts don't, but all the other ones do.
We got a new impact that does. It's got a
Well,
4-button thing, right?
there's different ranges, but you can still snap stuff.
You guys, yeah, I had to learn about that. I hate this driver. And was it you, Josh? Yeah, just push the button. Was it you?
Yeah.
Ah,
So stand that thing up and see how it looks.
yeah, let's see. Kind of anticlimactic, not putting that in the opening, but again, this will be good. We'll get that thing going. You can talk to us a little bit if you got any breath left in your body, and then we'll take a little break and we'll come back and.
You got some test work going on. Everybody's sweat.
Does it feel weird working with such cheap materials since you've been working with, $200?
No, not at all. I'm not stuck up that way.
Yeah, and a door is a door and a jam's a jam. And you're always working with the imperfection of the materials. You're looking to find, but a lot of times you're not the one finding your jams and doors. They're coming to you. So you're basically stuck with what you get unless you just can't use it. It's just too bowed or too warped. So you're always dealing with something in the material that you got to deal with.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And it's still good. It's gonna go in the hole really nice.
What we do, we fill holes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hole filling. Guess we could describe all of us males as that.
Oh, come on, that's so sexist. Just
Oh, did you
kidding.
hear what Bill Maher said about Schwarzenegger?
No, what do you say?
So he was comparing him to the Maytag repairman, and they superimposed his face on the uniform. And Bill Maher said that, why not have Arnold Schwarzenegger as your spokesperson? He's got a lot of experience putting loads in dishwashers. So, because of the maid.
Putting loads in dishwasher.
Okay, then.
Just repeat what I see. What I hear.
So what are the tricks then, for us? What are your tricks? Because we're gonna hang that door probably next week. We'll sawzall that out, so. So just kind of, you describe walking up to that opening with trimmers, the doors out, trimmers and a head.
So well, big thing is, a lot of the times we'll have houses where doors have to be in a specific space. So we'll have layout on the floor. Every door's gotta be on a certain center.
Wait, certain center, like center of the rough opening?
Off of the grid line.
Oh, right,
All of
yeah,
Paragrande was off of
grid lines,
those
right.
grid lines. So we snapped out the whole house.
That's the
for-
big thing.
For everything, beams, beam ceilings, doors, windows,
Wow.
elevations. So we go through, we'll shoot an elevation through the house so that all the doors will line up, doors and windows.
So that heads will plane, from right here to however many feet that way. The heads will plane down hallways everywhere. It's set, and then the grid lines allows things to be set square and perpendicular.
Yeah, because like when you're setting a door jam, we used to do a square edge on the hinge side in Vegas. We didn't really have the expansion, contraction. We didn't really have the humidity. So we do square on the hinge side, bevel the strike side, and that would put the reveal at definitely 3/16.
Yeah.
On an 1.75 door. As you, if you bevel the hinge side, the hinge actually opens up. And the hinge actually dictates the reveal on the hinge side, and it's about 1/8 of an inch. So in going square, we pre-hang up to 450 doors a year for our company and others. And we get complaints, oh, these doors are too tight, there's a problem. We go take a look, and people have their jam legs are twisted. So they're throwing it in bind.
Yeah.
And so we go through them, and then we started beveling both sides, opening up the reveal, and which helps someone who isn't proficient at hanging doors. It gives them a little more space so they're not bound. And you could tell right away who can hang a door and who can't when it's square on the inside. And a lot of the times we have jams that have to line up with flooring. If wood floor is going through, you can't have the jam going one way and wood floor going straight through.
Yeah.
So, and we plumb, like right now, we're hanging a bunch of Colby and Colby exterior doors.
Yeah, and they're all pre-hung, right?
They're pre-hung from the factory.
Are they clad?
Yeah, they're clad.
So aluminum,
Yes.
which is the thing now. So you get that? They got a wood, they're in wood. But they're clad. They have a wood, James, they're wood, but they're clad. And that's pretty much, what's happening in houses today. Is factory exterior doors like Colby and Colby, which is a great brand. How long do you have to wait for those?
18 weeks for
Yeah, that's good, man.
I don't know, long time.
That's good though, but I heard somebody was out 58, Anderson's out 58 weeks now.
Hmm.
But you can't cut them, right? They come from the factory, but you got to adjust them, and they do have adjustment in their hinges.
They do. We take the doors out of the frames and we true up the frames the best we can because they
Drew them up on the ground or in the opening.
go in the opening. We'll set the frames in the opening, plumb them up, we'll get them in cross size. We rely upon lasers a lot for doing cross side of the opening. See it. So we plumb on interior doors, we plumb each edge independently and make sure that everything is flat to the level, no daylight between. And then we use trim head screws, and with the trim head.
So you're not nailing the jambs. Trim head screws.
Yeah, these are GRK RT. So the RT is reversible thread, and that's what this is for. So we'll grind the screw in, we'll shim it, put a screw in it, and then if we need to, I go back with another nut driver, and then I can just fine tune it. It's like tune a piano.
Unreal.
Yeah.
So no nails.
No.
And are these self-driving?
Yeah.
No,
And
no pilot,
I still pilot, so like today,
which is a better way to go.
So
Don't
you-
split any
if
jams.
you, yeah. So if you thought that the bags were heavy before, then I've taken one of my countersinks, I pulled the countersink off, so I just have a tapered bit
Mhm.
that goes on one side. And then the driver goes on the other side.
Oh, man.
So now we're fully loaded.
So
And then
no nails and jams.
then I gotta be like Flavor Flav and have my phone up here. Instead of a clock- instead of a clock.
So do you always set your jams in the middle of the opening? Or
Well,
does
you're
it depend on the
supposed to. It
grid?
depends on what the layout is.
Because it's so nice to slam it tight to a plumb trimmer.
For Title 24, it's not.
Oh, it's
You
supposed,
you need to have space around so it can be foamed and,
no, that's for an exterior door.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of interior
yeah.
doors. but yeah.
Yeah, that's where you used to bring the trimmer up to the door and nail it off. Yeah, I like to, because it's, the wood these days is not very stable. It's constantly moving. It's expanding, contracting, twisting.
Yeah.
So we like to have some right around, no more than half an inch of shim space around the door.
So 1/2 inch total
No, on each side.
on each side. No, which is what you're so, well, actually. it's
No more
half.
than half inch. So I mean, 3/4 is good, as long as the opening's plumb. Framers can't frame things plumb anymore either.
Yeah, but if your typical RO for a 2.4 door is 2 inches over,
Mhm.
for 5/8 jam is 1 1/4, that leaves you 3/4. 3/8 aside. And does that
So
acceptable?
that's
to
under,
you?
yeah, it's under half an inch. And we should be able to hang a door in that opening.
And then, and really, would you hang a door in the center of the opening, shim both sides?
Shim both sides,
Even if the grid lines showed you, because you
No,
could
you gotta
lay
be,
it out.
no, you gotta be on center. If you're not on center, you have to move it. It's centered for a reason. If it's not on center, we're moving it.
And that's all interior doors, exterior doors as well.
Everything, doors, windows, beam, ceilings, TNG.
And that's all because of the grid layout, so everything is,
The architects based
Perpendicular.
everything off the grid.
yeah, that's pretty technical.
Yeah, that one you saw was the most technical house.
Oh
we
my
did.
gosh, that house was
'Cause
beyond
it was
belief.
like even the exterior siding, So we had, for the windows, we had casements, awning, hopper, double hung, single hung.
You guys know what we're talking about? Casements open out like this. Windows open out, by the way, doors open in. Casements open like this, double hung, right? Or single hung sash. What else?
Awning goes out,
Awning type,
hopper,
hopper type.
tops out. Then on the doors, we had swing doors, Dutch door, lift and slide, bifold, pockets, pairs of pockets. And everything was, it's like even the siding. So the siding we had board and bat and shiplap. So board and bat on the first story, shiplap on the second story, and board and bat on the clear story.
So did you have, did you have blocking? For your-
Yeah, every 2 foot
So it's somebody, the framers blocked for you.
Yeah. blocking plus shear. And
So you had nailing, which is great, and a shear and a half inch shear. So did you need to get into studs for nailing, or did you just
You're supposed to.
count on the shear?
no, you're supposed to,
Okay.
for the waterproofing. So we wouldn't count on shear. That's only,
For nailing.
Yeah.
You want to nail into the studs.
so
So that was just, everything had to be precise. There was no hacking it up,
No.
inside and out.
Mhm.
Well, follow a laser line. So it's a big house. How many square feet?
that was about 6,000.
6,000 square feet. So on this end of the house, that siding at this level needed to be at the same level
All the way around.
all the way around the damn house, so that when you came, it met. And that requires some skill and just layout
And a good laser.
and a good laser for sure. And somebody knows how to use it and set it up.
Yeah. Yeah, layout was key. Most of my time was spent doing layout.
Yeah.
And then, once that was done, then it was, just start filling holes.
Filling holes.
What laser do you like to use?
Right now, the 360 DeWalt,
Okay.
I've got 3 of those.
Is it green?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess green.
So like today we had it set up in 2 separate rooms. There were windows in each room, but the rooms were mirrored. So we had the laser in for an elevation for the top of the window. Then I had, in each room I had, I take a laser to give me my 60-inch above finished floor reference.
Huh.
And then
That was the bottom, that was your rough seal?
I use 60.
No, just as a
just
reference
As a
point.
reference,
Right.
yeah.
You get that? So the 60 inches as a reference point means really nothing. It's just a level reference point. So if you know that your head is going to be 82 inches, you're going to need to be 22 inches above that, right?
Yep.
Or 24.
And I like to pick on an even number with a 0 because
Yeah.
it's easy for everyone to
Yeah,
add to.
yeah, no, it's good. I like that. Rather than just shoot it and call it. And,
A lot of
oh,
people,
yeah.
like if you have someone come out, and they'll usually do 48. And then people start adding, so, I
Yeah,
forgot,
yeah.
and so
Even's
carry
good,
the
but
2
then,
and-
but also, you're only gonna be, that 60 is only gonna be level in one spot, the spot you start outwards, right?
No, we like a lot of the times when we set our laser mark, that's for everybody.
So you said it, you gotta set it.
We established finished floor,
Yeah, okay, well, that's good because a lot of people don't do that.
and then everybody's got to work to it.
Now, make a big difference.
Yeah.
Because we did a run of cabinets as long as this wall, and started out with a 4.5 inch kick and wind up with a 5 3/4 kick. I mean, more times than I can tell you.
Yeah, we did a bank downtown that upstairs, the floor was 6.5 inches.
Jesus, from side to side,
Yeah, from one end to the other.
6.5 inches?
Yeah.
So you can't fix that. This is your baseboard's gonna just,
Oh, no, we had Western integrated aluminum frames for all the offices up there. And we had to make everything work.
so those are metal jams,
Aluminum.
metal doors as well?
No, wood doors, integrate.
Snap together jams, they're trimless, right?
Yeah, there's there's fasteners, but you blind screw them,
Yeah.
and then glass goes in a channel. But there's
And with
mechanical
your floor 6.5 inches out, I mean.
Yeah.
So you still had to have your heads plane.
We did in runs, but there was some odd shaped glass at the end of the day, so there were quite a few doors. It was probably 1,500 square feet. It's a bank at State Nanapamo.
Not American Riviera.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
I'm serious. You guys did that?
Mhm.
Fudge.
Did the door, all the doors, interior doors.
I built that bank. All that
That's why.
cherry down below.
But there was nothing there.
What?
What do you mean now?
No, I built it 9, 10, 11 years ago. It's definitely there.
Well, in America,
American Anacapa and
no,
we're
no,
Anacapa.
state and
Okay, so
Nanapamo.
that's not American Riviera.
Oh, first,
That's First Bank. I think.
first
Yeah,
Republic.
that's it. Something like that. That's a nice bank too.
Yeah, no, oh, yeah, right, not American, yeah, First Republic or something like that.
So what are you doing now? What are you working on now?
Quite a few things.
And do you just have work just lined up?
Yes,
So no room in your schedule?
No.
How far out are you?
months, yeah, probably a year,
So how many jobs you got now?
like 9 or something.
How many employees?
It was 8 of us.
And how long have you had your guys? You had your guys a while? You got good guys?
Yeah, I got good guys. I had to bring a couple guys in, that contractor friend of mine. So him and his helper and then my guys.
Do you still look for entry level stuff, guys?
It depends, but yes, I'd like journeyman, but right now, I mean, if someone's willing to learn.
There is enough grunt work.
Yeah, there is.
If the guy's sharp.
But it's
and can
funny.
Pick
'cause
it up.
Something I just heard recently was that, people come in, I mean, we've had people come and go, but people have come in and said, man, I've done finished work for a long time, but not at this level. It's not something that was planned. It's just something that evolved into the way we do things, and everything's based off of me having to guarantee my work, make sure there's no problems with the work in the future. We have very little callbacks on our work, so that helps.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're finishing up the Woodley project. That was $160 million.
$160 million build. That's the cost of the build. I've Googled 559 Woodley, but you said it's 451?
351.
351. Google it. There's some renderings. It's unbelievable. The hill, it's like kind of becomes the hill. You just walk
Yeah.
up this thing and
So it's a 300-foot diameter concrete house with a dome. And there's a live roof on it, means there's plantings up there.
planted.
There's
God, it's
walkway
ambitious.
with guardrail. There's a safety cable system for the gardeners so that they don't end up being, dying. They'll just end up being
Falling off the-
Yeah, they'll be a pinata.
So do they have to
Yep. If you cross,
go in harnesses?
Yeah.
What
and they have to tie in. There's a jacuzzi and fire pit above.
And this
up on
is,
the roof.
this is a couple, right? It's a single family home. It's lynda.com, or I think I checked that out. But you see some of the renderings, it's just beyond belief.
The house is basically a work of art.
Yeah, yeah, $160 million. Now I spent maybe 7 million to build the book building, which is also a piece of art, big time. But this goes to a whole other level.
Yeah.
What made it so expensive?
Price, just the concrete alone.
Yeah.
The forming, the engineering.
Yeah, they had the
There aren't
forms
too many
built by
straight
cabinet
lines.
makers,
Mhm.
Right.
Oh, a boat builder.
boat builders and
yeah.
cabinet makers and pattern makers, just to build the forms for the concrete. Now, what happens to the form after the concrete is poured? They're toast. They're gone. They're thrown away. Laminated curved forms. I mean, it's just millions and millions. It's like it's almost as if price was no object.
That was not really.
Can you imagine that?
No, I can't.
Oh my gosh.
It's also pretty green. They've got.
Is it LEED certified? Do they go that?
Oh, that I don't know, but they've got, that thing generates so much power, Edison can't take it back into the grid.
So where are their panels?
Around, down by the driveway.
So they have a whole array
They have 8 arrays with 27 panels in each.
each. So that's a 16 or 20 kW system. That's like each one. How many systems? How many?
8
Yeah,
times 27.
that's way more power than they're ever gonna
16.
use, right? Ever. And
Yeah.
Edison can't take it back? I mean, can't store the power or take the power that the overage?
It's
So
like a power
do
company.
they have battery walls or
They
anything?
have batteries, yeah. They're building a bunker for the batteries. Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that they can generate this power, put whatever back on the grid, take care of themselves, and then store power in lithium battery walls, so at night.
Well, I don't
So
know,
are they- are
I
they
don't
complete-
even know if it's walls. I think it's just individual. I mean, I haven't seen the bunkers.
So a bunker just full of batteries.
Yeah. They could be walls.
But they, Tesla's making these battery walls and all the rage now. But it's the future, but I just wonder about the rare earth stuff and that, we're gonna, the mining, that we're still gonna be able to get stuff to make the batteries. And they also are pretty much forever, they're not gonna go away.
Yeah.
But, soon, I mean, and look at this, you are completely cordless now.
Yeah.
Your full mortise boring jig is corded.
Yeah.
You've got a bunch of routers in there, I see corded,
30.
your planes corded. your
Yeah, about 30 routers.
126,
in the cell.
30 routers.
You still have power cords though.
Yeah, no, he's,
Yeah, I haven't used them. The poor power cord guy keeps calling me like every 6 months. Hey, Nick, now we're pretty much going cordless. I haven't used the cord in months.
yeah.
So we have
Why?
cords. A guy sells me the cords and he puts the company name on there and my phone number. So I know if one's missing, I see it somewhere.
Well, that's great, man. I love it. So it's on the cord when they make them. Oh, I love that. It's the way to go. I've gotten stuff back from my name on it years later. Yeah, I was in this place, there's a ladder with UT on it.
I just had Pat Connolly text me yesterday. One of my push brims is down at Hayward Lumber. So, no
Took
idea.
it out to load up the truck.
I
and
mean-
put it back in. Somebody did that.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, ain't need, it's losing the God blessed tools around here either. I can tell you that. They get borrowed and they don't get back. When did you start? How'd you start?
Family when I was 16. And
So
then,
your dad put you to work?
my parents did, working for my family. Uncle's a contractor, half brother's a contractor, grandfather was a builder.
What'd they start you doing?
I was clearing ditches,
How
full
old?
footings, 16.
So you were digging ditches for footers.
Mhm.
And then how did you ever become a finished carpenter?
I don't know.
I mean, at some point, somebody said, let's hang a door. And
Well, no, because we do things from the ground up. So doing the finish work, it's like, wow, this is nice. This is easy. And then every once in a while, I would see someone would come over and help, and just looking at their tools, I was pretty much amazed and starstruck by the tools. And,
yeah, this is tool porn, baby.
yeah.
Big
And I
time.
have an addiction.
Yeah, we can tell. So questions, you guys have questions for Jerry? Somebody must have a dang question. I know you're just burning with questions.
What do good Finnish guys make?
It's depends on how much money you can make me.
Yeah, and then how they're tooled.
And how you tooled up, what your experience is.
Yeah. But let's say a guy comes to you and he's a pretty good door hanger and he can do trim. He's a good finished carpenter and you've seen his work.
In the 30s, probably.
And do you have licensed guys that work for you too?
The guy that's helping me is licensed, but you can only do that for so long. Otherwise, they're supposed to be classified as employees and you got to do workers' comp on them.
Yeah, or if he's doing contract work, yeah, it's a whole other thing. Exactly. Yeah, and now don't you have to have a retirement plan and all that jazz too? And there's a couple stuff that came
That
out.
just started.
Yeah. I just got a notice about it because I got a new license and a number.
So the other thing that we started was safety plan, and instead of it being a tailgate, meeting
Yeah.
all over town, different jobs, I got this online got safety program so that the guys can go takes
Do it online and then they did. They got
and they
it.
sign off on it, and it's on them to do it. It's on, and if they want to get paid, and it's on them to sign off.
That's a great way to go, man, and a lot less time for you, and it's on their time, which it should be anyway, right?
Saves me, if we do them, once a week, it saves me about 15 grand a year.
Yeah. Wow. Because you're paying these guys 15 minutes or a half hour to do nothing but talk safety, which you need to do, and you need to do to keep your workers' comp enforced. You have to have, within every 10 days minimum, you have to have a safety meeting, tailgate safety meeting. So by doing it this way, you're totally conforming. And they're doing it on their own. I just love that.
And also our time tracking is through QuickTime, which used to be T-sheets. And So guys get invited into an app and it has all the jobs and we have item list of different, whatever you're working on. You pick the item list. The item list is connected to the codes for workers' comp. There are two different codes we basically work off of. And that way the state gets their money.
So so is this, everything's logged like on an app on the guy's phone when they're working? Is that the deal? They log in and then they log out?
Yeah.
And that's how they're paid?
And they have to write a description of what they did. And there has to
And
be-
you don't have to do the payroll? This is somebody's doing
it
it
connects
for
to
you?
the payroll.
And that's done by somebody else? You're not looking at their
bookkeeper.
time cards?
I review them, make sure that, if there's, usually I try to go biblical and run two people, together, like Noah, and that way, for safety, and usually I don't want anyone getting hurt, so if we're carrying doors through houses, I want two guys per door to
Yeah.
carry them through a house. I don't want the door damaged, I don't want the house damaged.
Do you roll doors? Do you have something to roll doors
Oh,
around?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Like rolling dollies, or
Yeah,
piano
I've
type
got-
dollies, or?
I've got two big dollies. The last one I bought was $900.
Oh, what's it look like?
It's big, it's yellow,
And is it a,
spring-loaded jaw.
wow,
Wait, so do you normally have two guys at a job site?
Oh, at a minimum.
at pairs, so any job site is gonna pair
You're always
guys
gonna
up.
have somebody with you.
Because you mentioned saying you had about 9 jobs going,
Mhm.
so you have about, what, 8, 9 guys, you said?
8 guys,
8 guys?
8 of us.
So you have 4 jobs going, and
Well, we keep, a lot of what we do is it's like hit and run. So we go in, we set
Right.
exterior doors and windows and we split.
Yeah, and then you're not back until
Then we go hit
drywall is
another
done
job.
and
Exterior
PVA
doors and
sealers on the
windows.
wall.
oh, okay.
Then we have
And then do you guys set bathroom hardware in the whole cha-cha
Yep.
too?
bath hardware.
Which is a big deal, setting hardware. And some houses, it's an unbelievably big deal.
Yeah.
The hardware, just like pocket hardware. You wouldn't think it, right? But the mortise pocket hardware, you can spend more on hardware in a pocket door than you can do your entry door.
Mhm.
And then there's entry doors, and then there's the houses, the really Tony houses, and the big doors that you're doing all full mortise. So you saw him mortise with this template, right? So there are entry doors that usually have a Baldwin or some kind of a mortise lock, and that's a mortise just like that, only it's 4 inches deep and 6 inches tall and about 3/4 to an inch wide. And there's a tool, big 2 horsepower router that mounts on it, and you just crank it and it drops down as it goes and cuts that thing. It's just probably set for the typical Baldwin stuff. It's not that hard to adjust. There's depth adjust, there's length of travel,
Then I have 4 of those.
and 4 of them.
So
They're
I have-
like $1,200 a piece.
Yeah. Well, no, the last one was like 18.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
fire
old.
tax.
I'm old. I bought
But
mine.
they're set up for different things. Exterior mortise locks, interior mortise locks, pocket door mortise locks, and then I have one for just, we change up for different specialty stuff.
So the jobs you got going, are you doing the finished work, all the finished work on new houses? That's what they are?
Well, new or remodeled.
Yeah.
Houses.
These days remodels are pretty much gut.
Yeah.
There's so many gutted.
We're doing the estate on Sycamore Canyon, old estate from the 20s. It
Oh,
was,
that
it was
one.
just bought for 32 million and then.
That one, is
torn
it that
apart.
stretch there between Hot Springs and that big intersection of
Yeah.
Yale, that one?
Mhm.
It's just classic.
Yeah.
Is it a
used to-
Giffen Crane job?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that job.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable house. What are you doing there?
Lower pool house, there's a car barn that's being turned into a gym, there's upper guest house. And now I've got plans to the interior of the house, we're gonna swap out doors. I think they're adding a wine room, or
There's-
connecting the 2 wine rooms.
And they're
together.
swapping out doors or changing out the doors? Those are old 20s, incredible, probably
Yeah.
incredible doors, right?
Yeah.
What are they doing? What are they doing?
That's one I got the plans just last week, so I haven't had a chance to get into it yet, but
So besides working with your 97,000-pound belt
Yeah.
and doing layout and running your guys, then you also have to be in the office and do these bids.
Mhm.
So at least you're not having to do with payroll, you're having checking up on stuff like that, but you still, and I was the same way, I never let anybody bid my jobs ever. I'm gonna eat it or make it, it's gonna be on me.
well, I've had, like a friend of mine, from Vegas has come out, stayed with me a couple times, and, yeah, I trust him to do the takeoff. So
Takeoff,
he
yeah.
does the takeoffs,
Yeah.
we go over it, and then I put the numbers to everything.
Now, you still do your numbers by hand? You don't, do
Well,
you
it's not
digitize?
No, it's on a computer. I've never done it by hand. It's all been in the computer.
Right, so you put it on the computer, but do you digitize your plans? Do you have a digital?
Oh,
board where
yeah.
You can just touch the doors and-
Oh, no.
with a digital pen. That's how Dave James does his installation. It's all.
So I have Blue Beam review, and I just go through and open the plans, combine them if I have to, open them up.
So you just go down a list of the computer and.
Well, it's the plans on the computer screen, and then
Right.
just go through and check things off. And then measure areas or perimeters. So square footage, linear footage.
Yeah.
We're doing a house up on Mountain Drive that had 2,600 lineal feet of false beams. Largest
Like
order.
U
that-
beams?
Yeah,
What, made out of what?
mixed grain Doug fir.
Yeah, are you making those?
No,
'Cause,
that are no.
they're probably, and who knows if they are, but we made a ton of box beams. and we Love this.
Lock mine. Yeah, I have to make them out of 1-inch material.
Pass that around. That's the shaper. Once set up on the shaper, you run each piece a different way, but you don't have to move it. And it's actually, you can do it on a router table. That might have been done. I think I did that on the shaper, but you can do it on a router table.
So, let's see.
So questions, you guys got any questions? Well, Jerry's looking for something on his phone.
Just trying to find.
So that's a great joint for box beams. And so a lot of people like decorative box beams to cover up just the frame beams, or they even just plant them on there because they want it to look old fashioned, like the floor above is being held up. But these beams, so it's a U-shaped beam out of wood. So they're doing these out of fir, right?
Yeah, mixed grain fir.
Mixed grain fir, so slash grain. So you got a ceiling, and then maybe you're gonna put some nailing on it and say 2x4, 2x6, whatever. And then you're gonna make a box beam. It's gonna go around it and have a miter. Right? This is actually out to here now. So you can tack it and tack it. Right now you're seeing three sides of that mixed grain fir. And there's 2,600 lineal feet of it. And so, and Arch Mill's making the beams. Damn that Arch Mill.
So it's got. Thought I had a whole file for that house.
This is the house on Mountain Drive.
Yeah. So. This is, this here's one of the big rooms. It'd be
Oh
nice,
my
one of
gosh.
these times if I could just.
And so they're gonna, the drywall, you got nailing for the drywall, those drywalls are gonna go in between these, and you didn't make these.
No.
So here's a really good example of these U-shaped false beams. Wait. See that? Can you see that? Yeah, you can. That's pretty good. If I really knew, I could probably Bluetooth you and project it right to the Zoom. And there's a box beam.
What
Right,
type
Joe.
of injuries do Finnish guys usually
Backs.
sustain? Back injuries?
And fingers. I think for the first time in 30 years,
On what?
little skill saw,
I,
little battery fucker that's in there.
it,
I had the
just-
guard pinned back. I was pissed off and in a hurry. And I just ran it and it started really quick and I was into the, as soon as it started, I was into the wood. And then bounced off my finger. I knew what it was.
Let's see, bad? Didn't cut the end off.
Oh, no, but there's a shark, it's like a shark tooth because it went in that way. So, yeah, it was not fun.
No. You got in a hurry and you picked the guard, which we
it's-
do. You saw Gemini on the ladder. Oh my God, please. I don't tell anybody about that. No, It's gotta go.
Eye injuries, I've had several. 'Cause I'm still
From
getting back to
splinters and stuff flying in your,
Yeah, I had a
Your
piece, and I just had a piece of ash, right as, and I worked a lot of overtime, so. Wave off the painters and, I got a cut and a piece of 3/8 ash. There was something that went down in the kerf of the saw and it came back and it dropped me, lacerated my cornea.
ay.
So I had like 2 lines, 3/8 apart, it was the width of the piece that came.
And it was just you there?
Oh, yeah, by myself.
So did you have to
yeah.
drive yourself to Muncie?
I called, I called out to my boss and then one of my coworkers came over, helped me get loaded up and I kind of went pirate and followed him to his place.
Oh, my God.
And then I had to get it cleaned out and if something's in deep, they pick it out with a needle.
So the ash was in there.
Yeah.
Ash. I hate that when that happens.
Or metal, I've had metal in my eye when I was younger. If metal's in your eye long enough, it'll leave a rust ring. So then they have to route that out, get rid of the rust.
Yeah, I'm gonna get new lenses, $3,000 an eye. So I'm gonna start a GoFundMe page for Rodney's eye. Rodney's Ojos.
So you're from Vegas, what brought you
Nope,
out here?
I'm from here.
Oh, you're from.
I ran away, joined the circus in
Oh,
Vegas.
okay.
Ex-wife, her parents retired there, so of course we had to go. So, but it was the best thing for my career.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it pushed you to another level. You see what was possible?
Yeah,
and
no,
What you wanted to
you
do?
get there, you don't know anybody, and it's like you got, a baby on the way, or firstborn, and you realize how the world works really quick.
I say it's grown a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been growing like crazy. out
I
there.
think when I left in '99, it was from January 17th to like June of '99, or '94, and then June of '99.
5 years.
Have you gone out there recently at all? It's just.
I went back for a wedding. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, did you take vacations?
I do now with the toy hauler. So,
And then I'm sorry, where are you keeping it again? I asked.
in
you
my
that.
front yard,
That's so killer. Where's your place that you can do that? I wish I could do that.
it's out by Costco. The association rules just changed where we can have
Oh,
trailers
it's
on
so
property.
cool, man. It's so
So I had a
cool.
DG driveway put in and it's on one side.
It's really good. I'm gonna flare my driveway, but mine's gonna go back and live there as a
working here.
teaching tool. Yeah.
There
It's
you go.
gonna-
Well, mine's a portable office.
Yeah.
I can go out work out of town,
Yeah,
roll
yeah.
the Knack box in there.
Did you get a Grand Design?
No, it's Genesis Supreme.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't get a toy whore.
Can
But
sleep 7, we're going down to Country Fest down in India.
the what's it called? Dang it. The not Burning Man, but
No.
Coachella.
So, yeah, but it's for country music.
So
Okay.
Coachella Country.
Yeah,
Oh, that's in Quartzsite, Arizona. Yeah, so you are taking vacations. It's good.
Yeah, start to, yeah, so, yeah, I want to get out. and-
What do you think? What's the future of your company, Jerry? What do you see? Do you see bringing somebody up where you can
Oh, my
retire? And
My son's working for me now. and,
that's fantastic. And is he taken to it?
Yeah, at the spaceship. I mean, working next to me, I get phone calls all the time. I gotta walk off, I gotta take a look at things. And he
Yeah.
just got frustrated and just started putting door hardware together
Huh.
and did it right, so. he
Now,
was,
what spaceship? Oh, you mean the Woodley?
Yeah, well,
The spaceship. You gotta see it. We'll bring it up. It's not a project it. Yeah.
well, I don't want to be on any kind of,
Oh, no, it'll
Screen, but-
just, we can show what's available. If you Google it, there's a couple
They'll-
of renderings.
yeah, they'll have a video of it. They're having an author, they're writing a book about it.
Huh.
But let me show you. I'll show you the thing.
This is the
It's steel.
spaceship. It's all steel. Is it all steel thread? Steel
Yeah.
thread concrete? So it's pretty non-flammable. Like that. Yeah, it looks like oh my good gosh. Look at that. That's a good perspective. So This is good. This is the interior part of
a house,
interior
a house.
framing. Of what?
Of a house.
Of, yeah, of a house. Well, of a house. No way. I've talked about it enough. It's all over the internet. It's freedom of information. Yeah. Everybody knows about that house. But look at that, the framing.
That's like something out of a movie, like a science fiction.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's just one. So think about it, $160 million build.
And I think they're gonna donate it to the city or county when they're done with it.
No kidding. Well, they're not gonna live in it?
They are,
They'll live in it, but
but maybe when they pass. I'm
in
not sure when.
perpetuity, they
I
could
didn't
have it.
ask.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Isn't it?
That was.
I wonder if they would give
Word on
it
the
to
street.
me.
Yeah.
Oh my
I don't know if you wouldn't want the bill just for the upkeep.
God, can you imagine? Just keeping the live roof alive.
We got a power plant, so you can start your own electric company.
Well, if it hits the fan, we're all gonna gather there and hunker down. Isn't it nuts? It looks like it's out of a science fiction movie, but it's actually in real life. And that's just the framing. That's the skin. So try to picture that drywalled, plastered, just getting these floating arch shapes. I mean, it's over the top. And that's just one part of one interior wall.
Yeah, they had us, so we set a pocket, and then we had to energize it. We put a closer unit. About $15,000 or $20,000 unit from New Zealand.
Whoa, wait a second. For the door closer?
Yeah.
15 or 20 grand
For a
for a pocket door closer, so it opens and closes the pocket?
Off of waving your hand.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. You wave your hand and the door slides into a pocket. You snap your fingers and the door slides back. You shake your hips and the door goes straight up. You go like that, the door goes straight up. You didn't see that, did you? No.
I do the helicopter to get it to open. So this is kind of a shot of the entry door.
Oh my God.
Nope.
Did you guys hang that?
Not on the camera.
Okay, did you guys hang that?
No, we didn't. The guy that built it in Texas did.
That's the entry door.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
The glass around there is one piece.
One
on the
piece.
surround.
No,
Looks like
Yeah.
the Star Trek logo.
really? It's
It's
one piece, that
600
glass, that side light?
The
As it
surround
goes
light,
around? Side light. I
$600,000
mean, surround light.
door.
Wait. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, 600.
$600,000 door?
So how long were you on this job?
It's like November of last year.
Oh, wow.
We had about 50 doors to hang.
4 months?
No
5
kidding.
Oh, six.
50 doors?
Yeah, so we had these aluminum Italian frames, door frames.
Yeah.
Had wood inserts, or jam liners. So, the jam liners had all the preps, all the hardware preps, and then they decided to change things.
So you just set the jam liners first, right?
We set the jam liners first. We have them drywall one side. So, because of steel stud to get shear.
Right? And was it all bullnose or square
No,
edge?
No, it goes to a point.
A
So they
point?
finished right to it. So all you see is revealed. The doors are painted the same as the walls.
So you don't see the jam.
No.
So the doors come to a point at the edge of the jam.
Well, the edge of the jam comes to a point, and then the doors are,
So the jam's back beveled then and the plaster just grounds
No,
to it and just disappears. Can you show us? Wipe that off. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was envisioning. That's the jam, right?
Yeah, then there was an insert that goes in. And then there was another sharp piece of aluminum that went back. And then we were able to run clips in behind.
Oh
This is
my
solid wood.
God. So all blind.
Yeah. So we
So
had-
blind fasten, no evidence of fasteners. Yeah. And then where did the drywall plane to it? The drywall planed right to this point?
right to this edge here.
And then in here is the door with an 1/8 inch reveal. So it just looks like the doors are opening out of the wall. Yeah. Yeah. And then the pocket door is like,
That's
I just made up snap fingers. It sounded good. Wow. Too cool. So the doors had a little,
Bit of rabbit.
huh,
the
and what was
hardware-
that
hardware
for?
was centered for here, and that was for the stop.
Oh
Well,
my
that door is
God,
actually way
stop,
back
and
here,
it
but-
stop with this little tiny stop in the rabbit. So that
was-
when it, so from this side, you didn't have a big old stop.
Wait a minute, this is, it was part of the frame, actually. It's not proportionate, but
No, but we get, we want to get the
Anyways.
idea, these guys. And so where's the stop now?
this is the stop. right
That's the
here.
stop,
Yeah.
and that comes to a point, and the
That
stop
goes-
grounds the plaster?
Yes,
Jeez Louise, so if you guys can see this, let me explain, some of you I know don't know what's going on here, but the drywall, so this would be plaster slash drywall, probably, you know, a blue board, Calcor, something like that. Same thing here. So if you can picture looking this way, right, door swings this way. All you see is the wall disappears in an 1/8 inch reveal and then the door.
well, here's,
And then on this side, you see exactly the same thing. Isn't it? It's really precise, it's precise, very modern. But you have to be really precise.
oh, it had to be perfect.
You don't have to, you don't
Larger
have a
frame.
slop where, you know, the opening, when we case that, you don't know what that opening is. The opening can be as whack as it gets.
That's,
And that's not
this
happening
is hard,
here.
this is hard to see. In fact, the jam liner's not even in this one, but you can't tell between the studs.
And you had to get all that in the framing.
Yeah.
And then you went back in and put the jams in. You had, and you had to put the finished jams in too before the drywall, right?
No, that was once after the first run, they put the jam liners in. Oh, here's one right here. So, that's a wood, we have just a couple wood frames. This is for the gym.
And is that, sauce mortars?
No, Texas.
Oh, that's a flush. bit.
It's,
Is that a hand?
oh, yeah, probably my hand. Yeah, it's my hand.
And those are, is that an interior door mortise?
That's for a hinge.
Wow, that's for a hinge. Can we see that? Look at that mortise. Look at that mortise. That's for a hinge. And there's 3 of them per door?
Some have 5.
Some have 5. That's the mortise. So you saw how relatively easy those mortises were.
Yeah.
So templates are made for these. They're just not as easy and you can't go quite as fast and they're a lot deeper. They got to clear. So are you doing these mortise with your full mortise pouring
No,
too?
they did on a 5-axis machine down. at Art
Okay,
Monk.
so you had these guys,
we were working for Art Monk.
they prepped the doors.
Yeah.
Did all the hardware prep on mortises, which is great to have that done in the shop.
And then I did the strike plate preps because I had to route through the aluminum with my template.
Well, of course you would. Yeah. How else you gonna get them in there?
That's
Stick
to
them on
adjust
the
the door.
surface. So you had to route aluminum. How was
Yeah.
that?
Goes right through like butter.
Yeah, like butter, just a regular hinge mortise bit?
Yeah.
And then what about the screws? You go through and you have
Well,
some
it's
meat
wood.
behind it?
It's because wherever the hardware goes, we have wood.
Right. It's just,
Is that the nicest house you've worked on?
Is that right?
Is that the craziest house you've worked on?
Pretty much, yeah. They've got a couple bathrooms, where you go. Going to this public, it's like a commercial building.
Yeah, everything about it. I bet it's all cast iron too, right? All plumbing?
There's, yeah. there's
And
a
is
lot.
it electrical and conduit?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of Smurf too.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it
Conduit.
seems they would do that in EMT. And the beauty of EMT versus Romex is that when you run EMT, which is a conduit for electrical materials, and there's various sizes, then you run your EMT box to box, you use steel boxes, you use steel EMT in the wall, and then you pull wire, which means you can pull more circuits, which means you have all kinds of options later and after the fact. It's prescribed for commercial. You can't use Romex in commercial. You can use flex conduit, a flexible metal, but it's metal conduit, and I'll bet you they use it here and not Romex. Did they isoning? Would they do?
It's
So,
all, it's like 3 feet thick of concrete.
so they didn't have to insulate it? I love that. Where's the insulation? Well, it's 3 feet thick. of
Well, so
concrete.
for Title 24, so a lot of the house is just glass. And
So the
they had to go
fenestration,
triple glaze,
yeah, yeah.
and to get glass that big, they
Yep.
had to go to Spain.
Yep. And so in Title 24, based on the envelope and the square footage of the exterior of your house, you can have so much fenestration. They allow you so much square feet or square inches of glass. And if you go over that and you're penalized, you have to make it up somewhere else. So you have to go triple glaze, you have to use on-demand water heaters, you get points going back the other way.
Oh, there's quite a few of those water heaters too.
Big old on-demand, I bet they had like 2.5, 3-inch gas servers to do that.
What's your strategy for bidding? Like for jobs like this, I mean, is
You
there
break it down, everything's
everything, like it doesn't matter if it's for this job or another job, you would bid it the same or?
pretty much,
Yeah.
depends on what the hardware is, what the jams are, the size of the doors, how easy they are to move around the house. It's, you just start adding all the different components up. So you start off with a
Base.
base
right?
door,
Basic door, and then-
and that's a
Yeah.
certain price. Then you add mortise lock, then you add trim, then you add, if it's an exterior door, if they want a regular sweep or they want an auto drop sweep.
So that's a pretty cool thing, because you have to, on exterior doors, right? If you're hanging the doors, you've got to seal that in the bottom of the door. And typically, door sweeps are a lot of people do bottom of the door, threshold, 1/2 inch or 3/8. It's screws this way, it's got a drip edge, and it's got an extrusion, comes up like that. And it's got a vinyl bulb sometimes, right? And that's what seats. There's also ones you let into the door and they're jam activated. So as the door closes, they're spring loaded. It presses the spring and this hard rubber comes down onto the jam when you close the door. And you don't see it at
A
all.
lot of the interior doors had the auto sweeps
Interior doors?
and keypads to the guest bedrooms, and
Wow.
Keypads.
No, just privacy buttons, right?
there were privacies once you got into the bathroom, into a bedroom, bathrooms would have privacies.
But keypads to get you in the bedroom.
Mhm.
Oh my God. I wonder what
And
the
then-
kitchen's like.
Which one? They have an everyday kitchen, and then they have a service kitchen.
For the service people to come and make their food, and then they have the stuff that they can.
And we set a
Wow.
double acting door, about a 9-foot tall double acting door with a Fitzgerald closer. That goes up in the bottom. It's a big prep in the bottom of the door.
Yeah.
It's hydraulic.
So that door is looking down on the jam. The double acting, the door set pretty much in the middle.
Nope, we had to hold flush to the inside of the
No
kitchen.
kidding.
Yeah,
Oh, okay then. But it's, there's a big cutout on the door. If you look at the door, a big cutout down here where this closer goes, right? And it's also goes the pin in the floor. that
a
closer?
small pin, yeah.
Yeah, and then to the jam.
It's
So
all
the
mortise.
door goes like that.
Yeah.
It swings both ways. So it's for kitchens a lot. So you can leave the kitchen, usually there's a window in them, door goes like that. Come into the kitchen, goes like that.
And there's a vision light in it.
Yeah.
So you can see if someone's coming through.
Oh, cool.
Then they clad the whole thing in steel to match the cabinets. They clad the kitchen with steel.
Stainless
cold rolled
steel.
Steel,
What kind?
cold rolled steel, and it had the burn marks in it for grain matching.
Oh my gosh, and is it gonna rust?
But maybe they're not putting anything on it. They're just treating it, and if it rusts, like a
Thing.
lot of the steel I-beams are that way.
They're
They're the
leaving
moment
them.
frames.
Yeah, tons of them.
They didn't paint it. They left it with the chalk marks on them, and
Wow.
very industrial.
We have a ton of the moment frames and steel. We have 21 load points, I-beams in the book house. They're painted though, but they still show. They're really cool seeing the bones of a place like that.
Then we had that'll work with the security company for them to energize it, put a 2,700-pound magnet, electronic magnet in the top of the double acting door for
Yeah.
security.
Yeah, that's what we did for Ted's too, for the stores. Clang.
This doesn't have the shear tabs, so I had to take the shear tabs off. Shear tabs go up on a spring-loaded plate and lock into the magnet. And I wasn't sure if it was gonna work because they didn't want to see the magnet.
Yeah.
And they clad over the jamb.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So It's strong enough to go through?
Yeah, oh yeah, 2,700 pounds.
Oh, I guess so.
That's like 16.
Yeah, we used a 1,500 pound.
Yeah.
And there's no way you're gonna open these doors. Those two doors were 1,080 and 900 and change each.
They've got some doors there that are 6-inch tube steel awning doors that work off of 4 foot or 4 or 5 foot tall hydraulic rams. And they just open straight out. And
Kidding
they're
me.
triple glazed.
And for
Yeah.
the exterior,
Mhm.
and they open like this.
Yeah.
And you walk out.
Yeah, I won't, but yeah.
Yeah, what if that fails?
Supposedly there's a safety mechanism, but then they have another door that is at an angle and it clamshells like a airplane hangar door. And it's on 3 belts and you hit the button, motor runs it, pulls it up, walk out, and you can close it.
Was there a contractor for this, Joe?
Yeah, Matt
A general?
Construction,
Matt?
Matt,
Where are they from? Are they here?
Long Beach. Commercial building.
I would imagine.
They've got a wing over the barbecue area does the same thing. It goes out of a hydraulic rams. Then they had some artwork done on a CNC machine and they clad it with aluminum.
Wow. Clad it, after the artwork was done, then they cladded it? Is it like dipped or something?
Well, did you see you saw the solar array?
No, I don't think so.
So this whole wall opens.
Wait, no.
Yeah,
These
That's
are the
patio cover.
doors?
that's a patio cover, that's one solid patio cover. just
And
solid
then
cover.
where are the doors that open?
Is the door.
This is the door
Mhm.
and it opens like that?
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
honestly, that thing there
Yeah.
opens like that.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. So this thing here is the door with all the holes in it and it opens like that. With, it's automatic hydraulic opens it. I guess, yeah, you would, the door's got a way, so, God damn.
How heavy is the door?
Yeah,
I
wonder.
don't know. Fucking heavy.
Heavy enough that I'm not walking under it either. No way, dude. What if the ram fails?
Well, it has a valve, it's got valving too. I was talking to the guy that was working on it, and said there's a valve. The valves on the Rams that will, it won't let it free fall.
At least
But
we
I'm
know.
not gonna do the crash test on that.
Yeah, me neither. Unreal place. So questions for Jerry?
Let's say you just want to start and you're just starting and you want to get into finished carpentry, like what would you prioritize, like buying tools or?
Cordless drills, impact hammer drill.
Good bags.
Yeah.
And then what else?
Or
What else?
best, some sort of toolbox, like whether it's it or pop out by Milwaukee.
And would it be a good idea to go, if you really want to be a finished carpenter, to go and interview at finished carpenters at the companies? Say, hey, I want to, I'm entry level. I'm willing to buy tools, do a certain sound. I've got these tools, and right now is the time to be in construction. I'm telling you, man. I mean, the stats are beyond belief. We're going to need like 7 million construction workers in the next 5 years.
The people that work for you, do they all have their own tools?
Yeah.
And
So
then I've got, I have stuff.
the
that I
big
don't
expensive stuff like that, the full mortise boring jigs, right? But they guys come to you with a
I
full
mean,
complement.
when I was working for someone else in Vegas, I went and bought I got a trailer. My truck got broken into. We got a couple things, and then I got a trailer, and then asked my boss to buy a mortise machine, and he wouldn't buy it. So I said, well, if I buy it, I'm the only one that's going to do the mortise locks for the company.
Yep.
So- and it changed my family's diet for about a couple months. It all the flavors of top ramen.
Beans, yeah, beans and top ramen. You buy beans by the bag,
Beans,
rice
shit, who can
too.
afford beans, man?
I remember hearing the guy shit about being homeless and living in a car, right? Then the next guy said, "You in a car, man?"
Yeah.
Wow.
So Jerry, your bag setup, is that a work in progress or is that pretty much like the way that you have
It's
it?
been like this. I got these in like 2002.
Wow.
I sat down one day. I was an employee for Allen Associates, and back then now it's Allen Construction.
Yeah.
And I sat down, I got up, my back was killing me. And so when the bags showed up, I figured, oh, I fill my bags. So I put everything together, and when I put everything on, the back pain went away. And then I took the bags off and it came back. And whether it was psychosomatic or not,
Wow.
it helps with my low back issues.
And suspenders don't.
No, that just loads your spine.
Huh.
It's all the weight on your shoulders.
So this is the weight on your hips,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's probably a good place to put it, rather than your spine and compress your spine.
Yeah.
Which is not good. I don't know. I'd have somebody rolling a cart right next to me with all those tools in it.
The back, I wrecked my back a long time ago. I'm dumb, not that smarter now, but
But you've learned a few things along the way.
yeah.
What would you, for a bunch of guys that some are in construction, some want to be in construction, they're all interested. What do you think is the most important thing that they could bring to an entry level interview? Like
Be on
if they
time.
came to you, be on time,
Be on time, be honest.
look you in the
I
eyes.
mean, anymore, it's, from all the people I've interviewed over the years, I think anymore, I just want to know all the bad parts of your life, because I'm gonna be part of it at some point. Whether
Yeah.
it's drugs, alcohol,
Yeah. Ex-wife,
whatever.
battling with a girlfriend,
Yeah.
custody battles, all that stuff, because
Yeah,
all that
it's like,
stuff
tell me
affects your
Tell
work.
me all the dirt first.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
You should be running a background check on them.
yeah,
So
should
that's
do a lot of
expensive,
things.
yeah.
Should do that, and should send them out for a physical before they
Yeah,
step
yeah,
forward.
yeah.
There's a lot that, I mean, so I started Trimworks in 2003 out of necessity, so. After divorce, I got my license and just changed my life, my family's life, so. But it was out of necessity, more so.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn like all the paperwork, the forms that I've developed my own forms. and,
What it's like to be a contractor. It's not just doing the work by any stretch.
Doing the work's easy.
Yeah, compared, you're right. You can just turn
the
off, it's
paperwork.
very zen. It doesn't have to do with all the myriad paperwork and this and that, and customers and the vagaries of, yeah, that looks great one day, and then, oh yeah, let's take it out the next day, right?
Yeah, honesty is number one. Punctuality is huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's
you know,
huge. Being able to count on somebody is huge. And by showing up on time, you're telling you that you
Care
can
about the job.
handle the commitment. And that's what you're committed to do, no matter what, right? No matter what. Yeah, you read a lot about when people show up. I like to go down and look at their cars or trucks. That's part of my interview. Let's see what you're driving. See how it's organized or not, or if there's a bunch of fast food wrappers. I mean, that doesn't tell me, but it tells me something, about them. But I hear you, man, because if you get a good employee and they last, you will, whatever shit they got going on will eventually come back to you.
Yeah.
Because you're the guy, you're the dad. When people get a
I'm the
paycheck
dad,
every
the
week,
bro,
you are the dad.
financial vizier,
You're everything.
Yeah.
You're the
I
financer.
just keep turning the hat. If someone wants HR, okay.
Yeah.
HR.
Yeah,
So,
you're the psychologist. You gotta be. That's-
cheerleader, then some people gotta be punished. They gotta be spanked somehow.
Yeah.
And
You gotta be the
everybody's
sergeant
spankings-
in arms.
Everybody's spankings are different. Some people are monetary,
Yeah.
Some people are, you make them go to work, you make them do something you don't wanna do, so. You gotta figure out people's personalities and try to get them, get the most out of them, so.
Yeah.
But the ability to buy tools, willing to learn, I still learn every day. So,
Yeah.
and I've been doing this for a long time.
That's the attitude. That's the attitude part, that attitude of I'm ready to learn. I don't know it all. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to do what it takes. Oh, and by the way, when you tell me to do something, I'm going to run to do it,
Yeah.
or at least walk fast.
So it's like, part of working light, put things on wheels. Well, anytime you make a move, you want to make money for, whoever you're working for,
Mhm.
yourself. So if you're gonna run to your truck, and you need to take something back, take it back. there.
Yeah.
And then, you're making money with every move. If you're moving one direction, take something with you. If you're gonna put it away, put it away. Don't be on your phone. That's another, they don't even.
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't like when I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
That's why I have an earpiece.
How about radios?
I like radios. Some jobs you can't, some
Yeah.
you can.
I don't like them personally. Not that I don't like radios, I just don't like them on jobs.
If you have any house restrictions and you have your ankle on, don't wear shorts.
Yeah, and smoking, man, nobody wants,
No
anybody
smoking,
knows,
no
smoke,
smoking
even on the
outside.
property.
We've had, 300+ acre properties and people if they want to smoke,
Yeah.
they have to leave, go down to the street,
yeah.
off the property.
Yeah.
And smoke.
Yeah, it's California,
No
man.
drugs, no alcohol on site.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a level of build, so you've achieved and attained a level of building that's pretty much, pinnacle at this point in the field that you're doing. I mean, you see yourself,
Try.
where do you see yourself going?
I don't have really time to look forward or time to look back. I just have time for the now.
Yeah.
And I put out fires every day, fireman also.
How old are you, Jerry?
39 and 204 months.
Okay, so what is it, are you 55?
Close.
Less than 55.
Oh, more. It's 56.
Okay, you're 56. I was really close. I didn't even figure the 2 and 4. So 56, you got 10 years. That's what I'm giving you. 10 years until you're just gonna hang up your belt. I'm gonna give you 10 years.
Let's see. I could always be office boy too.
Yeah, it depends. Like for me, when I was ready to go, I was ready to go. And that was it.
I enjoy what I do. So, right now I like what I do. The bullshit is tough, but it's part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it. I got so sick of the bullshit though.
Yeah. So, it wears on me. The gray came from recession. Going through a recession 5 years, 4 years after opening a business, not
Yeah.
knowing dick about about business to begin with. So.
What's
Yeah.
the hardest thing about the hardest thing you ran into with starting your own business?
Hard stuff. Well,
Biggest challenge.
it's every field work is managing people. There's been a few different generations of trainees, and at one point, you end up with some thugs on your crew, and you gotta deal with that, you gotta follow up on that, drag them out and fire them, and
People.
dealing with personality. Testosterone's a wicked drug. Everybody thinks they're alpha, and at the end of the day, there's only one, and it's the boss.
You gotta manage people.
Managing people, sometimes you gotta coddle, sometimes you gotta spank.
And then managing customers. Oh my God.
Customers aren't bad. We typically have pretty decent clients. There's one of only a couple that, over the years, over 19 years, that I just won't work for.
And it's good that you can discern that. I tried to discern that along the line, and I found that I could do it unless I was really hungry and had no work. Then I basically have my lips surgically attached to your ass. I don't care who you are, if you got work for me. And I really in 19, what was it? 80 was that way, but was it 98? 08. There's no work. I would have done anything. I would have compromised any principle to get work.
Yeah.
I even worked for Sally Walker. I can't believe this is on tape. I even worked for Sally Walker. And I'll tell you guys about Sally Walker when we're not taping. And I swore I'd never work for her again. And I had just every time that I did. I had to tear up a whole White Oak floor for a whole second floor. And ultimately, the day we were going to tear it up, she took my offer to give it to her. No more money. It was 15,000 out of my pocket. I would have paid 30,000.
That was just, like, that's Monday. today's Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
So, time flies. So Monday I went to Craig McCaw's place, the car barn. And
This is Wendy's husband?
yeah, ex-husband. And so we did the restaurant for him.
The name of the restaurant?
Yeah, it's old Peabody's.
Oh, really? God, that thing was a long build. man.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Is it done?
Yeah, well, it's been done for a few years.
What is it now?
It's his middle name. I can't think of his middle name.
Do you guys know? You know where Peabody's was there at Butterfly and Coast Village?
Middle Road and.
The Middle Road in Coast Village. It was Peabody's. It got torn down and it was just nothing for years and years. And then finally there was a building. I guess it's back to the restaurant.
So anyways, he's got a car collection and he bought a horse stable from John Cleese and turned it into a car barn. And this thing's massive. He's got there's an octagon at each end, octagon in the middle. At each end, there are two 44-foot diameter turntables. So you can go in and just have cars.
Cars just spin around. So these are turntables that have cars on them?
Yeah.
And they're 44 foot in diameter? How many cars?
Or stripper pole, whatever you want. But then in the center, we bid on it. We didn't get it. I can't remember who got McCoy. I think got it.
Huh.
Got the bill. Gift from McCrane didn't get it, but yeah, we go back and fix things. In the center were some rooms, and one of them was an engine room where he had $1 million engine for a Alfa Romeo.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what's $1 million engine like? Is it internal combustion?
Yeah. But the engine for the car is out of the car and they have another engine in there, but this one engine happens to be $1 million engine. Wow. And then so I was at the car barn yesterday and had a problem with one of the entry doors I went to look at. And problem was we didn't hang it. That's the problem.
I used to love to be able to say that.
Yeah.
What was it about mine?
So it, and he bought, I know that he paid the highest, at the time, it was the highest price for a car at auction. 38 million for a 62 Ferrari. Wow.
38
race car.
million dollars. It'll just be in a car barn and we'll show it.
Oh, there's all kinds of shit there. I mean, there's an old bus from Yosemite with a rag top. So you could, from the 30s. Old cars from the teens,
Wow.
there was a Cobra from the 60s. All just everything you could imagine. There's probably $100 million worth of cars in one place.
I can't even afford gas.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's like I was in the center and the museum sections are behind glass. And I could not bring myself to take any pictures. As much as I love cars, and I was just foaming at the mouth. It's like, I don't really care about the door's done. I just want to.
Can I just wander around looking at the cars? Oh my God. So what's that? Is that there's that Porsche? What's that Porsche? It's $1 million Porsche, 800 and change. It starts at. What did I say?
Oh, the Carrera GT.
It's not the Carrera GT. It's another. If you said it, I would remember it. But one of my son-in-laws was working at a place right down there next to Fig Tree, like near the Fig Tree. There was a place where you could rent office space, and there's also a place that had a bunch of Tony cars and just unbelievable cars. Unbelievable. 56 Cadillacs, just perfect on that. Whatever that Porsche was almost $1 million car.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable cars.
We did a house on the Riviera for Ryan Milhon, Montecito Construction. He took it over from Tim Penny. And it was Brian Escalera's old house across from Francesca Park.
Okay.
Anyways, we got a call. Hey, can you give me a hand loading this plywood car on top of my truck? I said, yeah. So he gave us an address.
A plywood car?
Yeah. It was an armature of a Carrera GT with the ground effects and plywood wheels and 2x4 frame. So what they do is they take this thing and they check approach angles for driveways around town.
Oh, no kidding. So that's what this is for.
That's what it's for. So you don't scrape
Wow.
when you.
Wow,
when you
really?
do it.
So who has this?
Well, we went to this So, well, we couldn't find the address. There was no address on the building. It's downtown. It's a Cape Cod looking thing. It's got a gate, 2-story. And there's storefront doors, big storefront doors on one side, a pair of storefront doors on the other. Guy rolls in an old GMC, you know, dressed like any of us. Gets out, introduces himself, we introduce ourselves, he goes in. And then I noticed that there's a security door rolling up behind the big storefront doors. It's like, what the hell's that? So walk in and it's Ferrari, McLaren Senna, which is like a 95. Other McLarens, I look back, there's a 65, 66 Cobra, original 289. And there was several $1 million worth of cars in this one garage. And then we pull this, you know, plywood, play car. And there was a Carrera GT was in there too. Same car that Paul Walker was in when he died.
So is this just his plywood car?
No,
For
he
his
borrowed
drivers,
it.
or
He
he
borrowed it from a
contracts
friend.
out?
He borrowed it from a friend.
Okay.
They're all buddies.
Just to see if the driveway slope's
Yeah.
gonna work,
Yeah, because he was doing
because
it
they're pretty low slung, and it's a drag.
Yeah,
Muffler.
with the ground effects. So this client had a McLaren 720S and Ferraris.
Carbon fiber, big
So-
scoops, this is big air.
But he
scoops.
had a turntable in his place. The spaceship has a turntable. So, and they're all buddies. They all know each other.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah. Jerry, you're amazing, man.
I don't know about that. but-
No, you're amazing. Big
Yeah,
hand
thank
for
you.
Jerry. Take the time to share something. You're inspiring.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys have really helped me a lot in speaking in front of groups because I'm actually a real shy person.
He is a super shy. You should have seen him 12 years ago.
Yeah.
He was stuttering and
Stuttering,
he was
shaking,
crying,
sweating,
and
a
sweating.
little bit of pee.
He was hitting the bottle pretty hard to try to
Mm.
stay.
I was up to 5 shots of Fireball.
Fireball, yeah.
I love that shit. But no, honestly, I have trouble. Even when I had a crew of like 15, we'd go have lunch somewhere and I had a hard time talking to the whole group. So,
Yeah, you're relaxing, and it feels good. I mean, I hope you guys appreciate that as much as I do. I always see something else, see another tool or just a way to do things. 'Cause you
don't covet thy contractor's tool.
Yeah.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah, no coveting, just get it. I just get what I want.
Yeah, there's so much out there. It's really exciting.
But this cart is the bomb. This is the bomb right here. The bomb Dia. That cart.
That's one.
Big old wheels.
Yeah, that's the most decked out part.
Yeah. And then you got carts to move material too, right?
Yeah, we've got this, it's a panel mover that works. We can put like up to a 3-inch door in it. It'll hold 750 pounds. I've got the door jack 100 that it's an apparatus that it's a door lifter. It was designed here in Santa Barbara for moving and lifting the lead doors down the cottage.
And then getting them into the opening. Or...
Yeah, so what you do is you,
Oh, these are the lead shielded doors of cottage.
yeah,
Which for any X-ray, you have to have a lead shielding on one side of the door, right?
Yeah.
And lead is, if you remember, is super heavy.
so it's kind of like a dolly and you roll it under the door, run a strap around it, and you've got a ratchet so you can strap it in. You pull a pin, the door leans back at 75 degrees, and then the door will pass through its own opening. It'll carry up to 750
And
pounds.
then can you jack this and have something?
You can crank it up. So you got 2 different cranks. We've done 3, 6, 10, 0 doors on it. We had that.
And that's your tool, that dolly.
Yeah, I didn't make it, but it was, I got it from Gary Church.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
because we've done work for Skipper
Huh.
and Gary's told me about this thing. And we were doing doors down at Kate's school. And the doors, exterior doors were 2 1/4 inch thick, 3.0 and 3/6, 10 doors.
So just try to picture that, please. This is 1 3/8 inch thick door, hollow core, it's 6'8" or 80 inches tall. It's 2'4" or 28 inches wide. Just picture a solid door that's 10 feet tall, 3 foot by 2 1/4. That's almost twice the thickness of that. And that's hollow. These guys are solid. I mean, they're just so heavy, it's unbelievable. So
So
you gotta
this is,
get them in the opening.
here's the city. So there it is at an angle with the door on it.
Oh, cool, man. That's what.
And the glass, those doors are 10,000 a piece. The glass
Is it
goes
the kind
opaque.
that
It's electronic.
changes? Yeah, we got that in that
The neighbors.
Josh's house up on Sea Ranch and when he's doing that guy at Sea Ranch and Camping Hill. It's just $10,000 for that door,
For one, yeah.
for one door.
Mhm.
And it's a pair in that opening?
They're all
Oh,
closed, yeah.
so $20,000 just for the doors. That's not a door you want to break, right? Man,
Oh, the doors at the mahogany doors at Picara were 25,000-30,000 a pair before we tested them.
it's just amazing how much money is out there in the world. It's amazing. And then on us peons. Look at what it is, really.
Can't
Just
afford
some
gas.
crumbs, man. Give me some crumbs.
Yeah, just some-
I don't need a fucking turntable. I just want a couple of crumbs. Maybe some chrome lug nuts.
So that thing will, you can go up to an existing door, you crank up, there's two screw jacks. so
Yeah.
The thing will come up differently.
God, it's so cool. So do you hang all your doors in
No.
that thing?
No.
And then, but how much of, what is it, how low can you get the door to the
About a
ground?
quarter inch.
No kidding,
And
because
we-
it,
We go through, most of our doors, we have right at quarter inch about finished floor.
right, so you need to know finish floor, because sometimes you're having
That's
doors
right.
and there's no finish floor. Yeah, I showed him how to make that guide just for cutting doors for carpet. And how to use a framing square to approximate the door from the bottom of the hinge for us. Remember all that? Because I didn't put that on my test, but it's gonna be on the phone.
Didn't you have one question?
No! I don't know.
I think you had one question. I think you had one question.
Maybe I did. I'm getting,
Did you take roll?
I don't know.
Were
I
you,
don't know.
were you recording?
I am recording. I have taken roll.
So when it's time to hang that size door, is that like a two-man job or is it the dolly that actually?
Yeah, I pretty much, I ride the dolly, make sure the thing doesn't flip over.
Yeah.
And then I'll get it close, I'll ride it like a skateboard, and then I'll get it up to, like, it's a 10-foot door, so we'll go for the center hinges, or whatever we can use for a ladder. And,
Is it loose pin hinges?
yeah, they're butt hinges.
Butt hinges with loose pins. And did you hang the jams?
No,
So you just,
oh, no,
did you do the mortises?
no, they came pre-prepped.
Okay, so there are preps, so you
They're
basically
prepped
just
wrong.
hung the door. Did you have to tweak the door at all?
Oh, yeah, we had to tweak the
And
doors.
then, so what did it cost them for you guys? Do you remember to just hang that door? I mean, was that
Oh, there were a bunch, there were a bunch of them.
not
So-
just the one door, a bunch of
No,
pairs?
there,
right?
yeah, there were a bunch of pairs. So we did all the, we did all the hardware on the doors. There was concealed, panic hardware and, concealed vertical rod. So we did all the hardware. It's another door lifter we use.
Love that.
Door,
See that?
lift it up.
So cool. Door lifter. It goes here. Step on that. There goes that. Ooh, love it.
And you can pet it too, so you can.
That thing. You don't have proprietary on that, right? You don't have patent on that, do you?
So this came from Springfield.
And let's see, oh, your clamps, man, your clamps. You are selling those clamps, right?
Yeah.
So Jerry has had some of those clamps manufactured, so he's also selling them. If anybody starts doing finish work. We're wondering if we can get those. You can't get them anywhere but from you. They're not made anywhere.
One tool and.
Really? Oh, you got them go through Brandon Tool? That's
Yeah.
great.
Long time ago, and then Channel City Lumber.
Because the Ulmia,
Mhm.
they're pretty darn expensive, and you have to buy a bunch of them, and then you have to buy the tool, and there's two sizes. That's the way to go. It's just the way to go.
Yeah, no tool. And that goes on around $20 a piece.
It's really good. It's really good. Well, we're gonna help you load up.
Sweet.
And thank you again,
Yeah,
Jerry,
thanks so much.
for
That was great.
just did a great job for us. And your speaking skills are just getting incredible. Alex, Alex.
And this all came about because I was hammered one night, wanted to see what City College, see if you guys were doing anything for kids. And I called something or left a message at some point.
Okay, so my Zoom class, you guys stick around. We're gonna help him and then you're gonna just talk to me. I'm gonna talk to you for about 5 minutes. Okay, about 5 minutes. And then
Anything over there we can take too?
get this stuff out of here. How's my?
Yeah, where do you have your eye
Keep
on?
coming here.
Okay, you guys are here. Tyler, Zach, Connor, you saw all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. So stick with us for just a minute while we help Jerry load up. And then we're just gonna touch base with you guys, okay? So every question. All right. Oh, Rocky. Oh, Rocky, baby boy. Here. Daniel. I'll meet you in that little room right there. Where else did I get in? Lock that up. Rocky's gone. Any of you that worked here earlier? Something else. Something to aspire to. If you're a tool or like we are.
Think they turn out all right?
So,
Yeah, right.
yeah, just to watch them. So, bear with me, you guys, okay? Everybody bearing? Everybody bearing with us? We'll have everybody back in. I wish I could take you into Jerry's trailer. I just don't have the, maybe you can see through the window, maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't really see anything through the window right now.
You can, is it got a reflection?
We're currently facing a wall, Tyler.
My point stands.
Can you is that doable from there?
I'd have to unplug it.
Okay, then don't.
I can see something.
Yeah, so you can see some of the inside of his trailer, some of his boxes, some of his drawers. He's got 30 routers in there, right? 30 routers. So we're gonna help him put it away. And then we're gonna come back in. And like I said, I'm gonna spend 5 minutes talking to you and then, okay? Okay. Remember,
Rodney, could you flick the lights for a second?
turn them on or off?
Off. I want to see if that.
Is that
Okay, it's about the same.
Okay.
It's okay to leave them on. Thank you.
that? Rocky, what are you doing? We have a better room.
Yeah, where's the better version?
Here, this is a little better anyway. This is interesting. We'll talk about that now. There's this.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's ridiculous. There's one outside. That's good, that's cool.
Oh yeah, this is good.
Here's the sawdust. There isn't much. Did a fabulous job on that door. And it'll be good with that will hanging.
Why am I holding this strip?
Just put it right there. I wanted to see if you could do it with one hand.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, that's adorable, man. Look at this mini broom. This is like for a child.
good enough? That good enough? It's pretty satisfying, isn't it? Hanging the door right, and starting to flip and having the wheels be turned. Then, you know, in fact, many before.
5 minutes. Jerry, thanks again, amigo.
Seasoned vet for sure. You know, I was helping Rodney today, and I'm like, okay, so class will go till like 8:30. He's like, yeah, 8:30. I'll have you guys out. Yeah, oh, it'll be a short one. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna have him do as much as I've had him do in the past. It's like 9:30 right now.
Bro, you think it's bad for you guys? Stuck over here on Zoom land.
Hey, yeah, you will. That's what happens when you don't show up. I don't know what to tell you. Much better in person. You guys see this, right? He did a great job.
Check it out. Ooh. Dang, that's clean.
5 minutes. And isn't it unreal?
Yeah.
Bam.
Really
Perfect.
We'll get that in the opening. It's gonna be so cool. The mortises are clean when we get it opened up. You guys will see. We'll get that in the opening, and next week, that's what we'll do. We'll get here and we'll take the class to sawzall out that door, and we'll keep it intact. We'll put a screw through it and let it, actually, we'll just keep it latched. It'll be a pre-hung to go somewhere else, and then we'll hang this door and we'll do a Craftsman style trim. And then Jerry tells me that he puts his trim together on the bench. I have never done that. But you know, the truth is that the guy is a real pro, right? I mean, you see that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just pro. Everything he does is pro. And he's developed a system that he can make money on. I mean, and he's not doing it. He's doing it because he likes it, right? But he's also doing it to support his family. And that's what we all want to do, right? We all want to make enough money to have a decent lifestyle. We all want that stuff, right? Want to be able to eat what we want, want to be able to live where we want, we want to do all of it. And he's at the pinnacle at his age, what did he say, 56. He's a hard worker. You can see that, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't just sit behind a desk like me. Now, I wore the bags for 2 decades, and worked really hard. And then I didn't wear the bags, because when you run 22, 30 guys and 10, 11 jobs, I could not work on a job and run the job. I don't know how he does it. He's an animal. So he's also tooled in a way that he can do anything. And he's got these systems. You roll those carts out, and he doesn't have to change bits. He doesn't have to set his router, do that 16 pins, that 16 roundover all the way around. He doesn't have to put a bit in his router, set the router, and do a test. All that stuff costs money. It takes time. We'll have to do all that. We'll do it the slow way, which is okay. You'll see how to do it. We'll get that damn thing hung. And I'm glad we didn't have him hang it. It was great to hear him talk about those jobs. So, any comments about tonight? You guys are a great class. Just keep it up and come. That is the most important thing, is that you come to the class. If you can come, if you're on Zoom right now and you can come in person, please do. It's much better, as you know. If you can't, then we'll continue to do Zoom. I think we've only got 4 classes left. I'll take a look at that. Our last class will be a final. It'll be on Canvas. But you guys, the guys that come here, you the guys are going to do well, and you're going to do well in this class, and for my money, you're going to do well out there. Everything's a microcosm of life. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Think about it. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And you're the only one that can change that if it's not working for you. So here's what works. Show up on time, be alert. Just listen, you know, I'm not asking you to do much but listen. I rarely ask you to contribute. More just, you know, listen to what's going on. And then when we take a test, I'm not going to try to ever trick you on the test. I'm just going to put stuff in the book, stuff from the classes I can remember, and hopefully I can draw you out. And really, in the time limit I give you to do those tests, I expect you to do really well and find the answers if you don't know. You know, go, because you know you can leave your test going, right? And then click and open up the Canvas module and go to the class, student view, and click on the modules and go to the week I'm talking about and click and open up that safety thing and find the answer, right? Same thing with a lot of it. You can go back and find it, especially the book stuff. So keep coming, keep alert, keep awake. And Jerry DeHoga, what a great guy. Just love that guy. Man. It's, you know, when he's talking about some of that stuff, those Bacara doors, and that's, it's like, I know what he's talking about, but I know that you don't know what he's talking about. He's talking about very sophisticated hardware. And that's where you can go with this thing. You know, you can go to a place where, you know, he's probably charged himself out at least 85, at least, if not 100 a quarter an hour. And the guys he's paying 35, they're probably getting charged out at 100 a quarter. You can make money. You can make money doing the work. You can make money running the work. The money's out there. And if you live in Santa Barbara, you have the opportunity to do all across the board, man. You can do work like this. You can do work like he's talking about with 10-foot doors. It's all here, right? There's economy stuff here. There's not a lot of tracks, but we're building more where you can blow through stuff and work fast, or you maybe want to concentrate on the high-end stuff. Go after the high-end finish guys if you're interested in finish work, because the contractors out there right now are looking for workers, and there's a dearth of skilled workers. That means there's a lack of skilled workers. So they're looking for entry-level people, and they're looking for a specific thing. Can I help you?
What time the class ends?
I'm sorry.
Because I'm leaving at 9:30, but if it's.
Oh, we're gonna get out of here in 1 minute, 60 seconds.
All right.
Okay? Thank you very much. Anyway, the world's your oyster, you guys. It's all up to you. See you next Tuesday, right? I'll see some of you tomorrow. All right.
Thank you, Rodney.
Thank you, Rodney.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That was a good class. Yeah, but be here tomorrow, Rodney?
No, I will not see you guys taking that test tomorrow, just, but I'll open it up on Zoom at 6 o'clock. You'll see me if you need to ask me any questions.
All right, cool.
So I'll be available for at least an hour, maybe 2 hours on Zoom.
Yeah, that's cool. I thought. Is that door safe? It's leaning like below its half.
Well, it's only, yeah,
It's good.
totally safe. It's safe. It's safe. It's safe. I might actually lean it and get it out of the way. I want to end this meeting right now.